of the field, Friday night tension high. Sweat on the backs, Pioneer pride. War drums beat inside, helmet cracks in the air. Concrete grit out and fight, enemies everywhere. Boswellsports, scream through screens, voices howl, spirits mean. Warriors clash unseen, legacy in the beams. Dust settles under feet, victory cries loud and sweet. Heroes in the heat, a battle so bittersweet. Bones crush, hearts ignite, bleeding for the fight. Under the stars, in the night, pioneers never die. Boswell Sports, scream through screams, voices howl, spirits mean. Warriors clash unseen, legacy in the beams.
Good evening and welcome to Boswell Sports for tonight's district matchup between the Mansfield Legacy Broncos and your Boswell Pioneers. We are live from Paul Jacobs Field here in Saginaw, Texas. I'm Jim Howard along with Peyton Peterson and Keith Diamond, and we have a special treat for you tonight as we will have a sideline reporter. You know him, you love him, you've been asking for him. It's Matt Winchell, and we're going to go down to him in a few minutes. But big game tonight as it is homecoming here at the stadium. And Boswell Pioneers come in, unfortunately, with an 0-6 record, but they play a Mansfield Legacy team that did not get their first win until last week against the Weatherford Kangaroos. So they come in with a record of 1-5. Temperature for the game tonight, 83 degrees with a northeast wind at 9 miles an hour, and there is zero chance for rain.
You're waiting on me?
Yep, waiting
Oh,
on you.
sorry. Sorry. uh,
Talk a little bit about there's the schedule for the Boswell Pioneers. As you can see, they lost last week to a very good Crowley team, 56-13. They hope to change their luck in this one tonight as they are in a must-win situation.
Yep.
You know, you got 4 games left. They face off against North Crowley 2 weeks from now, and that's going to be a tough one. But if they win the last 3, they have a good chance of getting in. But they got to start right here tonight. There you see your standings. North Crowley at the top. Mansfield Tigers will actually drop to number 3 after they lost last night to the Crowley Eagles, and then there will be a dogfight for that 4th spot.
Yep.
And the Boswell Pioneers hope that when this all shakes out, they're the ones in that spot. This is the first ever meeting, believe it or not. Over 60 years of existence for the Boswell Pioneers. This is their first ever meeting with the Legacy Broncos. Their 2023 record was 3-7 overall and 1-6 in district. Their 24 record, as you can see, 1-5, 1-1 in district. They beat Weatherford last week 55-14. They lost to Chisholm Trail in a tight one, 27-22. So not sure what we're going to get as,
Yep.
you know, you see there North Crowley beat them pretty handily, 56-0. But you know, North Crowley beats everybody
Yeah.
by that margin. What I really found to be interesting though was the rankings. I've never, in doing this for 19 years, I have never seen a matchup this close. The Boswell Pioneers are ranked 168, and the Broncos are 169. So that's pretty cool. You know, you see their schedules so far this season. and they've had some pretty tough opponents as well.
Yeah, Jim, they've good to see you guys tonight. It's good to have everybody back in the booth. But yeah, I mean, you look at what they've done so far this season and how they've played. They've been a squad, man. That they've look that you play at Chisholm Trail and you lose at Chisholm Trail. It kind of opens your eyes a little bit as far as your chances. And then last week though, they beat up on Weatherford, which is in a down year though, but 55-14. That's not no slouch, especially when you're talking about this district. So Pioneers are going to have their eyes open tonight and be ready to bring it to them because, like you said, this is a basically right now going forward, it is must-win scenarios the rest of the way, and you win 3 of the next 4 games, you're in the playoffs, which crazily enough would give you a 3-7 record going into the postseason, which would be nuts. But this is how this district is. We've got less games, more non-district games, and more of an opportunity to go make the playoffs. So it all starts tonight, Jim. I will say out of the next 4, or basically the next 4 opponents, taking out North Crowley with Legacy, Lake Ridge, and Weatherford, this is probably the best team out of those 3. If the Pioneers win this game tonight, they find themselves kind of in the driver's seat
yeah.
for that 4th spot. If they don't, all of a sudden you're talking about a 2-game advantage for Legacy over the Pioneers. Over the Pioneers with 3 games remaining, and that's a position that the Pioneers don't want to be in. Obviously, with tiebreakers and stuff, you could still find a way into that 4th spot, but you want to have control and to put yourself in a position to be after tonight in that 4th spot with you holding the keys to the ignition to put yourself into the playoffs.
Yeah, you control your own destiny with the win tonight. If they lose tonight, then they got to pretty much rely on some other players
Yes.
in this thing. So they need a W. That'll get them some confidence as they finish out the rest of the regular season. And it starts right here tonight, homecoming 2024, and it's going to be exciting. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go down to the field to Matt Winchell. That's next here on Boswell Sports.
Barbecue, make you move like a cow. Tasting Texas pride, no stopping now. From sun up to sundown, this place feels right. Red's Barbecue, every single bite. Lights above the field, Friday night tension high.
All right, welcome back to Boswell Sports as we get ready for tonight's game. A lot of people are filing in, the band's coming in, stands are starting to fill up a little bit. We're going to try something new tonight. We're going down to Matt Winchell, who's on the sideline. Matt, what do you got for us?
Jim, hey, I'm down on the field, obviously, and we are ready for homecoming contest.
This time, we would like to introduce Boswell's varsity cheerleaders.
We've got moms. We've got everything that you could possibly want in a homecoming game.
Seniors,
Uh,
Annabelle Valentine,
we've got on the field today. A
Landry
lot of
Howard,
energy, a lot of energy. The team is just when the team scraped over the field, you can feel the energy kind of slip away. When they're on the field, you can feel
Taylor Rose,
this team is ready. They're pumped. We're ready for a win. Talked to Coach Brown today.
Smith,
He said that the practice all week is crisp. They were ready. The team
Avery
is ready to
Taylor,
win. This team is ready for a win, and they really need one. So tonight,
Huxley
stick with it.
Beaver,
We're ready to have you. Everybody, enjoy your Pioneer win.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Matt.
Junior,
Back up to you, Jim.
Riley
Thank you, Matt. That was a great report. Man, I tell you what, you could almost feel the energy just with
Oh yeah.
Matt down
Oh
there.
yeah.
That was awesome. So, Peyton, what do you see as the keys for tonight's game?
Yeah, Jim, heading into this one, there's a lot of question marks as far as who's going to be available for the Pioneers. As you know, that in late in the game last week against Crowley, the Pioneers lost Kyrell Robertson and Lassiter, both at the running back and receiver position. And we both know that those are the two main weapons for Boswell, and those have been the guys that they've been going through so far this year. And we don't know. They're questionable to play tonight. They're basically both game time decisions. Not sure if either of them will play. But if in the off chance scenario they do not play, it's really going to lie on the hands of Juju Lords, the sophomore quarterback. He showed a lot of great things, I thought, in the first half last week. It was something, was really, I think, his best half of football so far this year. Had great pocket presence, knew when to tuck it and run, was smart in the pocket too. Did not make any bad decisions down the field. Didn't force it in there. And look, when you don't have two of your main weapons, it's going to make it tough, especially when you're without basically three of your main weapons. Because as you know, we are without one of our other tailbacks. So we are down to now third string tailback and a lot of sophomore receivers, which thankfully Juju has played with these guys probably since middle school, so he knows these guys a little bit, got a little bit of a connection. But a lot of weight is going to be put on his shoulders as well as Barboza. You don't want to be a one-dimensional team. You don't want to, just throw the ball every time. You've got to establish a run game. I feel like if you want to win, especially at home tonight against pretty good Legacy team that showed some things last week against Weatherford. So it's going to go through Juju, I think, tonight. Barboza is going to need to look. He doesn't need to go for 120 yards, 110 yards, but he needs to have about a 40, 50, 60-yard game on the ground just to open up the game a little bit in the passing game.
That starts with his wide receiver core. Struggled a little bit last week against Crowley.
Yeah.
Targeted, I think Rhodes was targeted 6 times, caught one pass. If they can get him rolling, get him going, get Traxel going as well, then they've got a shot. Like you said, it's going to take that pressure off that running game,
Yes.
which we have no idea what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah.
It's the next man up. Now, in the past, the Pioneers have always had the ability to find that next guy up. I mean, Chance Lassiter, this is a kid that was homeschooling last year.
Yes.
So we'll see what Coach
Homeschooled
Weaver.
and was the backup entering the season and just took the
Yes,
starting job. So, look, I mean, in these games, you never know what can happen. Look, last week, I'm sure a lot of people, if you looked at halftime, were thinking, "Oh my gosh, Boswell's only down 2 scores to Crowley. That's kind of interesting." And I thought defensively as well. I thought in the first half they played really well, and that's another thing, Jim, is defense is going to be a massive factor in this game. Limit the big play. That's been the issue for the Pioneers. Is defensively in these games they've found a way to whether it be one drive they have a good stop. It seems like every so often a drive will happen and the opposing team will pop off for a 60-70 yard play, and they've got to limit that. Basically give their offense a little bit of a break sometimes, but also at the same time don't make it easy for your opponent. You want to make them work for it. You want to make them get the yards on the ground and fight for every down. And that's going to be something that's big. I thought last week both East and West they played really well. Same North and South. Really, the issue was in the RPO for the run game was the problem. But I thought East and West was the best game that they had played all night, because really throughout the season so far, these teams were just they weren't even running between the tackles or the guards. They were just swinging it out to the right or left because they knew if they had the Pioneers out in the open field, they couldn't be brought down. We saw a little bit of a different change last week where the Pioneers were flying to the football, wrapping up, getting guys on the ground, and they're going to need to do that tonight as well.
Yeah, that's the team that we need to show up. The other thing that the defense really needs to do is they've got to get teams off the field on third down.
Yes.
You know, a lot of teams, when you're unable to stop the run, then that makes it easy for them to go for it on fourth
Yeah.
down in their own territory.
Exactly.
And so they've got to get them off the field on third down.
Well, I mean, if you think about it too, Jim, if you've got a team that can't stop the run and you've got 3rd and 4, all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, this is basically 4 down territory because we know we can pop off 3 yards on the ground at each time we run the football. So that's kind of one of those things as well as the Pioneers on, 1st and 10, 2nd and 10. They need to limit the 5+ yard gains. They need to keep it to four in the minimum, I would say. But look, Legacy is a team, to shift gears a little bit and talk about Legacy. Legacy is a team that has struggled to throw the football this year. They have not even, they don't even eclipse 100 yards a game passing, 91 yards through the air, and that's going to be something that the Pioneers are going to have to, I think, exploit. Get them out of the run game. Make them throw the football. Make it 2nd and 15. Make it 2nd and 13. 3rd and long. 2nd and long. 3rd and long. That's how you win the football game tonight. Get your offense back on the field and then establish the run game on offense.
Be interesting to see what they do if they win the coin toss.
Yeah.
You know, the past several weeks they've elected to receive because the strength of the Pioneers has been their offense, and they try to get out to an early.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this game, Jim, if you win the toss, I mean, I don't see a reason why not. It's homecoming. You want to try and establish a momentum. Obviously, we know that through three of the games this year, Pioneers probably played through three and a half quarters.
I think they're fixing to do the anthem.
Oh, we're about to do the anthem soon. So, but basically through 3.5 quarters, in those 3 games, they were the better team. And really, the issue hasn't been starting off; it's about finishing the football game. So that's another thing, another factor that we, talked about last week too. Is they've got to find a way to play through all 4 quarters terrifically. Even when you have a lead by 12 points with 4 minutes left, you've got to keep the pedal to the metal because that has been an issue this season is their 4th quarter basically closing out games.
Yeah, and that the key that we've said over the past several weeks is that, and I feel like that this team needs to find their identity.
Yes.
This could be it. This could be the night right here.
It could be the night, and especially if you think about it, it's a whole new group basically playing. If you don't have Cairo Robertson and Lassiter, now is your shot to show that new culture. This is going to be the culture coming up for the next 2 years. So this is your opportunity tonight. If you are in this spot as a sophomore that is going to have a chance to play running back or a chance to play receiver, now's your time to establish that identity now for the next 3 years.
And this is a big one for Coach Weaver. Coach Weaver is it's tough when you're 0-6 trying to motivate a team.
Yes.
I think if they get out early, get on top, get that motivation up, get the crowd behind them, and get a little bit of confidence, maybe they can hold that lead and pick up the W that they need. Critical tonight.
Critical game. We talked about it earlier. I mean, it all starts now. Your playoff dreams, whatever happened the previous 6 games are out the window. You've got to win tonight, or you make things really difficult with 3 games to go.
Well, let's go ahead and real quick just look in the chat room just right off the bat. Obviously, we've got our stalwart Stephanie Curlin from London. She says it's about 1 a.m. and 32 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So thank you, Stephanie, for continuing to support your Boswell Pioneers on a Friday night.
I will say though, I've got a lot of coworkers that are based in London. They got to see the Northern Lights last night as well, so that was I missed it here, unfortunately.
Well, few people I knew that actually saw it had to do a long exposure on the camera, so it wasn't anything really visible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Northern Lights. If you've never seen them, man, it's something.
I've seen them once here in Texas.
I've seen them. Actually, I was a freshman in high school and up and visited my aunt and uncle in Minnesota on their lake house. One night came through. It was just sat out on their dock for probably an hour.
That's awesome.
So we're going to take another real quick break. When we come back, we'll have the national anthem and the coin toss along with the captains and the kickoff. Stay with us here on Boswell Sports.
If you're hearing the same old songs over and over, you need to tune in to the zoo.net. Thousands of songs in the library. Radio like it used to be. Radio as it should be. It's on the internet 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and it's free. The best classic rock of all time. It's the zoo.net.
The internet's best classic rock. The Zoo.
Okay. Welcome back to Boswell Sports as teams are starting to come out of the tunnels, or not tunnels, but out of the locker room. Looks like we may have a couple of captains for Legacy ready on the other sideline. Boswell hasn't had their captains come out yet. I know we got a couple of the classes from the fours are here tonight, and that's kind of cool. Peyton, talk about homecoming and what that means. What does that mean to the players? What does it mean to the fans?
Yeah, Jim. I mean, it's a whole. Obviously, each week is a whole different clean slate. But for these guys, I mean, you never want to lose your homecoming game. That's always the biggest thing. Even if you're undefeated or defeated, which they are right now, you never ever want to lose your homecoming game. So that's weighing on their minds tonight. I'm sure a lot of them have their dates and stuff pretty excited for tomorrow, the homecoming dance and stuff. But a lot of these guys they're ready to get after it tonight. It's always not only a big game for them, a big game for the seniors, a big game for the alumni. Some of these kids, the school's getting a little bit older. A lot of these kids they've got parents and grandparents that went to the school, so it means a lot to some of the families. That have players on Boswell. So it's always a special night. It's always one of those games where again you don't want to lose. you want to win it on your homecoming night, but we're seeing a lot of fans coming to the stadium now, and it's one of those games as well. Besides senior night, where you have a really good attendance because a lot of people from the community they come out for to support their high school. Whether it be 30 years ago graduate or 5 years ago graduate, there's a lot of people that come out and want to go see the Pioneers win on homecoming. And if you're out there too, you hear a lot of bells. If you hear hear the mums, that you would think you're in a Christmas store. Spirit of Halloween's making
Yeah.
Spirit of Christmas this year. You would think you're in
Right.
one of those, but it's not. If you're not from Texas, it's not wind chimes either. It's just a bunch of big creations that are made and are walked around with, and they're called mums and garters. So it's going to be a good night, I think. And as the Pioneers captains are the first ones out of the locker room first, so the whole team looks like they're going to get a little bit of longer pregame speech than usual
Yeah.
from Coach Weaver. Probably some motivation tactics ahead of tonight. So getting ready for this one as Kyrell Robertson is out there along with Christian Lassiter, Brant Williams, and that is also Dugan Drigg.
Yeah, those are all part of that captain's council for the Boswell Pioneers, and that's a great bunch of kids.
Great bunch of kids, and we spoke about it earlier in the pregame. Kyrell Robertson is questionable to play tonight. He is suited up. Still not sure if he's going to be out there or not, but by the way that he was walking out, he looked kind of healthy.
Yeah.
Not too sure, but here's the captains for Legacy. We've got number 11, Xander Walker, number 2, Brian Barton, number 77, big kid, David Dalton, and number 50, Emmanuel Moore, who will not be playing tonight with a knee injury.
Yeah, speaking of injuries, I'll tell you, Peyton, this has been, I can't remember, there's only been one other season that I can remember the Boswell Pioneers with as many injuries as what we've seen this year.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most injuries we've seen since that 2017 season, I would believe, where the Pioneers lost, 5 quarterbacks until they struck gold and found Braden Thomas on the freshman team and went to the playoffs. And it's been, unfortunately, you run into these seasons sometimes where you just have bad luck and you lose a lot of your, injuries are going to happen, but you lose a lot of your stars, your studs, to injuries. So hopefully tonight, Boswell, whether Kyrell and Lassiter play, can still find a way to win this game. And again, you talked about it, next man up mentality.
Boswell Pioneers wearing blue, gold, and white tonight. That's blue pants, the yellow jerseys with the white numbers. I can see those numbers a little bit better than those ones against Braswell.
A little bit, yeah. I think Coach Weaver may have heard us and changed out the blue numbers with the white. But I think, look, it's still so hard to see the numbers and from up here when you've got gold jerseys. So
yeah, Legacy with all white and the silver helmets with red numbers, and not sure exactly what they're waiting on.
They're doing the
Introduction.
yeah, it looks like we've got 6 administrators along with Coach Emerson that are on the field right now. It looks like probably being recognized. And honestly, the way that I'm looking at it, I think these are all alumni that went to Boswell. Coach Emerson went to Boswell. We've got 3 shirts right here that say class of 2014, 01, and 81 on the field. So I believe that these are all administrators that went to Boswell that are being recognized on homecoming. So very cool. Now, I'm wondering if the Legacy coaching staff is wondering, well, why is one of the coaches here at midfield?
Yeah.
It's Coach Emerson. He's a special teams coordinator. He's a really good coach for the Pioneers. Has been here for a bit. I believe this is his 7th year with Boswell.
You can see several members of different classes also represented down there. 1981, 2001, 2014.
And is Coach Emerson going to flip the coin? Oh, man. Legacy coaches may be a little worried about this as Emerson's flipping the coin.
Boswell receive. Or not receive.
So, yeah, Boswell did win the toss. They defer, it looks like. And Legacy will actually go on offense first. They'll defend the north goal and Boswell the south goal.
A little bit of a different change of pace for the Pioneers. The last few games they did elect to receive, so they're going to go on defense this time, and that may be because of the injuries on offense, where they feel a little bit more comfortable going on defense first and getting a stop early. And we're about to get ready to roll here as we see Pioneers getting ready to come out of the tunnel. It is one of the coolest things in Texas high school football, just seeing these big, massive, inflatable tunnels that high school kids get to run through and stuff. It's with the smoke machines. You usually don't see it across other states in the country. You usually just see a big paper that they're running through.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Back in my day, it was paper. You ran through papers. And you were lucky if you got to do that.
Here they come, carrying the United States flag for the Pioneers tonight is number 54, Bryce Henderson, senior offensive lineman, 6 foot, 190 pounds. So it's always a cool thing for the players, get to run out with the U.S. flag every game.
And the little ones right behind them.
Yeah, the young Pioneers, guys who we may see here in the next 10, 15 years.
Someone don't look much bigger than my granddaughter.
Pioneers will go down into the end zone. They'll kneel down to pray, come back to the sideline, and then we'll have the national anthem.
Seems like the wind has picked up a little bit. We did have it at 9 miles per hour before the game, but flags are
It's funny
kind of flying up here a little bit more.
You've got the north goalpost. You see a little bit of movement flags on the north goalpost, but nothing on the south.
Yeah.
So we will pause as we get ready for the national anthem.
Now, if you want to use each game, or that's it. Boswell and the goal.
Good job by the Band of Gold as we're about ready to go. Here's the Boswell Pioneers, an important football game live tonight, and the excitement is incredible.
It's always good to be back at the Bosma Hall, as this quarter is brought to you by Red's Barbecue. If you are not over at Red's Barbecue, you better go right now. This is the last few hours they will be open for the weekend, as they've got some catering duties on Saturday and Sunday.
Where'd our camera go?
As dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties up here, and as we've got a camera back down here. Pioneers ready to kick this one away. We did see a little bit of a kicking change last week as far as the place kicker to kick off. It was Ben Perez, and they made a change and went in a different direction. We actually didn't have the number of the different kicker, as we are waiting to see.
25.
And yeah, we've got number 25. Yeah, we still don't have a number, so it's the unnamed kicker.
Unnamed kicker.
Unnamed kicker for the Pioneers, number 25. It's one of these rarities where we don't have a correct number.
They've had so many,
Yeah.
so many injuries, so many position changes that obviously the roster has not kept up.
Not at all. As the fans are ready to get going down here at Pioneer Stadium. Ball is placed on the 40 to kick this one away. Number 25, unnamed kicker. It's an onside. Surprise onside. Do the Pioneers recover? They may have. No, it was recovered by Legacy. So the Pioneers come out the gate trying to go with an onside kick.
Yeah, just pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, trying to pull it all the stops. It looked like they had a chance there. It was one of those Pat McAfee style kicks where you let it roll out in front of them and you just have everybody just run into that first line of defense. But it was recovered by Legacy. So they're going to start off in really good territory here on their own 45-yard line.
Yeah, that's a gamble you take. But if you lose, you have to be ready to react because now Mansfield starts in good position.
So Wilson in the gun for Legacy. Back to pass. He's looking. It's going to look like it's a screen. It is. Pioneers are all over it, though.
There's
What
a
a
flag.
There's a flag. It's a good tackle. It's probably going to be an illegal man downfield. As that was Nathan Rosales on the tackle. Great form tackle. Nathan Rosales, great form tackle. And this will likely be an illegal man downfield, as that was a slow play to develop. As we wait the call up here from the official. It's taking this time. Little Foot Locker convention. And they must have picked it up. Wait.
Sideline warning.
So we've got a sideline warning. Yeah, a little confused. That may have just been a flag for the warning, but anyways, we'll have a 2nd and 13 coming up. Wilson in the gun for Legacy. He came out thrown on the first play. They will hand it off here to their tailback. So that looks like that was number 23, Jawan Harrison.
Stop for only a gain of 1. Pioneers clogging up the middle against a pretty good sized line.
Yeah, front 7 has looked really well to start this one, as it's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 for Legacy. They're going to go trips to the right with 1 to the left. As a reminder, only 91 passing yards so far in each game. That one is going to be incomplete. That one was intended for Dondre Thomas.
On the coverage for Boswell was Jonathan Martinez.
Good coverage there.
Good job that time. Make the Broncos go 3 and out, and that's a good start for your Boswell Pioneers.
Great start. You only allow 1 yard of positive yardage there, and that's what we talked about in the pregame. Stop the run. And the only run play that Legacy runs, only a gain of 1, and it works out. As Pioneers ready to return this one. We got 2 return men down there, as this one is punted away and fair caught.
Fair caught back around the 17.
That one was fair caught by Peyton Rhodes. So right there we usually see Kyrell Robertson, and that was Christian Lassiter and Peyton Rhodes on the punt. So it looks like Kyrell Robertson will not be playing tonight.
So Pioneers without 2 of their biggest weapons.
Yeah, as it looks like. Yeah, Barboza out at tailback for Boswell. So it's going to be a group effort for the Pioneers tonight, as they'll stack up everybody. They'll bunch up everybody here. Juju in the gun. Barboza to his left. Juju hands it off to Barboza, and Legacy's all over it, though.
Yeah,
it's going to be a loss of 2.
Caught in the backfield for a loss of 2.
And
this might be a very low-scoring game.
Yeah, this could be, Jim. I mean, Legacy has had some issues so far this year on offense, and there's going to be some stuff that the Pioneers are going to have to work through offensively tonight. They're going to stay in this bunch package here, though. Juju in the gun, 2nd and 12. Juju looks, throws, finds the underneath. That is Peyton Rhodes, who is brought down at the 18-yard line. A gain of about
2?
Yeah, about 1 or 1.5. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 11 for Boswell. So an interesting setup right there to start this game in their formation. Just a lot of bunch packages as they'll spread it out here with trips to the right. Juju all alone in the gun with 2 receivers to his left. 3rd and 11 from their own 19. Juju under pressure. Looks, he'll throw this little underneath tunnel screen right here, as that one was caught and brought to the 21-yard line for a gain of 2.
back to the original line of scrimmage.
And that was Barboza on the underneath. So Barboza actually plays a little bit of a receiver as well. So he is used to playing in the slot, but the Pioneers as well will only get 1 yard of positive yardage. So both teams go 1-1 and get ready to punt it away yet again.
Yeah, this could end up being a game of field position.
Game of field position, special teams, and who can keep the penalties down. Pioneers have been a really good team so far this year as far as not committing a lot of penalties or turnovers. This one is booted away. It's a great punt. And this one goes over his head. Did he touch it, though? A really good punt as it's picked up at the 10-yard line. He tries to make some move. He's stopped at the 8. They mark him at the 10, actually, for forward progress. And what a punt, Jim. What a punt.
Great job by the special team. Not only just the punt, but also the coverage.
Great coverage, not allowing any return yards there as the return man kind of got bit a little bit as he thought the ball wasn't going to go that far over his head. But, man, that is just one of those dangerous things of those rugby-style punts. They come out low, and you don't have a lot of time to react to where the ball is going to go to. So a really good job right there by the special teams as Legacy will take over from their own 9. Wilson now in the gun with Juwan Harrison to his right. They'll hand it off to Harrison, who gets it to the 11-yard line, a gain of only 2.
Harrison, a big running back.
Big tailback there, loving to go right between the tackles with him and try to get something. But, man, the Pioneer front 7 so far on these 2 runs have looked really good, only allowing 1.5 yards per carry. As they're going to bring a sniffer out here to the left. Wilson in the gun. Pioneers showing blitz. They'll hand it off to Juwan Harrison, and he breaks a tackle, gets it to the 16-yard line, and that's where they'll take off on 3rd down.
Pioneers had good pressure that time off the edge, able to wrap around the back side and wrap up because there was a huge hole there.
Big hole.
Big hole, but able to wrap up. Doing a little bit better job of tackling one-on-one.
Yeah, John Bassett was actually on the carrier there who broke that tackle. So here we go, 3rd and 3 for Legacy. Sniffer again to the left. They'll hand it off to Bassett, and he trips and falls, and he's not going to get it.
A turf monster.
Turf monster got him for a loss of 1, and it will be 4th down, and that will likely bring out the punting unit, and they will.
Well, you guys did say every man up today, right?
Yeah, so next man up.
Includes the turf monster.
Pioneers bringing out all the resources tonight to pull off this one, even the turf monster. Field operations manager, Jim, he's going to be getting a raise after this one. Legacy ready to punt this one away, and the Pioneers have a really good low snap here. Oh, Pioneers almost blocked it. This one's going to come out low. Great bounce, though, for Legacy. And the Pioneers try to pick it away.
Oh.
No, they did not. They did not. Woo. A lot of chaos right there on that punt.
Yeah, that was interesting.
A lot of chaos, but the Pioneers luckily will start off in really good field position here. And they'll give them their own 46-yard line. So I'm looking right here, Jim, that first possession, a lot of bunch packages. I feel like this team really does well when they spread the field a little bit. And because look, this offensive line so far this year, even though there's been some issues in the passing game, the offensive line has been great. I feel like there's been a lot of holes, and when you bunch up your offense, it kind of adds more bodies and makes it a little bit tougher to run the football. So I'd imagine they're going to try to spread it out here a bit.
Yeah, that's a group we haven't really talked a whole lot about.
As they'll bunch up everybody to the left, 3 receivers. Juju in the gun. Juju rolling out to his left side. Really a lot of pressure. Juju throws it on the run. It's tipped, and it's picked. It is a tip drill interception for Legacy. He's going backwards. Still going backwards. Makes a move. Oh, my goodness.
Block in the back.
As they miss a block in the back. Actually, the flag is thrown. This one's going to be brought back 15 yards, but an unfortunate turnover there for Juju. And it's one of those things, Jim, you just have the tip drill, and once that ball is tipped, it is anybody's ball.
We talked about it a little bit prior to the pregame show, and Juju has a tendency to sail the football.
Sail the football a little
bit. And that's what we saw that
Yep.
time. Gets into a tip drill. Unfortunately, the Pioneers end up on the bad end of that.
So they're going to give a hold against Lewis Wilkerson of Legacy. So that will bring them back a little bit, but the offense will come back out. And that's a big turnover for this Legacy team who has struggled a little bit offensively, but will now get another opportunity to take over at around midfield at their own 37-yard line and try to establish something. So they're going to have a new running back in now. This is their third running back. It's Jaden Manning out there with Nathan Wilson, the quarterback. So Wilson in the gun. He'll hand it off to, oh no, he does hand it off to Manning out to the left side. And Manning, a lot of room. He's going to bring it down the sidelines, and Manning is going to take this one to the house. It is a touchdown for Legacy, and Jim, that is the big play that we've been talking about, but there is a flag down.
Mustard on the lettuce at the 30-yard line.
Mustard on the lettuce, and the big play is taken back.
I thought I was seeing a hold down there in the backfield.
So this one will come back, and Jim, I mean, right there, they handed it off to Jaden Manning, who bounced it around to the left side. And look, I mean, that's been the Achilles heel for the Pioneers all season, is that east and west coverage.
But it looked like to me that they had good penetration into the backfield. The running back just managed to get his way.
Well, they lost outside contain, and that's a killer.
So it is a hold against number 7 Jackson Carr for Legacy. This will bring them still across the midfield on a run from Jade Manning. And look, I mean, I'd imagine going forward, they're going to continue to have Jade Manning in the game. They were starting to rotate running backs a little bit. They actually do take him out, interesting enough. So they will bring back in Juwan Harrison Jr. So 3 running backs so far we've seen tonight for Legacy, as they are trying to establish their ground game. Wilson in the gun. He'll hand it. Oh, fake handoff. He'll throw it out to the right side. This one's caught by Jackson Carr, who was just called for the penalty, out to the 35-yard line. Gain of 8. So good fake handoff here by Nathan Wilson. He'll bring up a 2nd and 2. It's their best positive yardage play right there of the night. A lot of big guys for this offense. Blaine Roosh is a guy that plays tight end. I'd look for something kind of in that middle of the field. A seam could be a dangerous look as he's got some length for Legacy. Wilson in the gun. Hands it off to Harrison to the left side. Pioneers are all over it, though. Great tackle for Boswell. As that was number 41.
Isaiah Paez.
Yeah, Isaiah Paez. Good tackle there as they will bring back out Jaden Manning for this 3rd and 2. He's a guy I think that they're going to have to give most of their carries to tonight, Jim. So Jaden Manning back out with Roosh to the left as the sniffer. Pioneers showing blitz. They will hand it off to Manning up the middle, and he's got a big hole. Good cut, and it's a 1st down. I mean, you see that from Jaden Manning to start. He's got some burst a little bit out of the backfield for him. As there is a timeout on the field, we will take one as well here on Boswell Sports.
If you're a fan of classic rock and tired of hearing the same old songs over and over, you need to tune in to the zoo.net. Thousands of songs in the library. Radio like it used to be. Radio as it should be. It's on the internet 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and it's free. The best classic rock of all time. It's the zoo.net.
The internet.
Coming out of the break here on Boswell Sports, as we remain tied at 0 with 5:09 remaining here in the first quarter, as Legacy driving a little bit here on the 26-yard line, 1st and 10. Wilson rolling out to the left side. He's looking down the field, throws this one to the corner of the end zone. It's caught at the 1-yard line. What a toss and what a catch, as Lewis Wilkerson gets it down to the 1-yard line. And look, Legacy's found a way here on this drive to pick apart this Boswell defense, and they can just smell the end zone.
Yeah, Jonathan Martinez just a couple of steps behind.
Hands it off to Manning up the middle, and it's a touchdown for Legacy. So they strike first here at Pioneer Stadium here with 4:49 left in the first quarter. And Jim, I mean, that was just a really good offensive possession for them.
Well, they get a little bit of mojo there. They get a spark after the interception and just able to go down and put points on the board, and that's what you're supposed to do.
It just goes to show you that momentum switches are huge. And look, as we wait for the PAT, this one is up the middle and good. So Legacy will lead here 7-0 with 4:49 to play in the first quarter. And back to my point, I mean, Jim, when you talk about momentum with a team that's very young, I mean, it's very tough to get it back. So this is going to be a very important drive for Boswell, especially for Juju, just to get his confidence back and kind of, obviously he sailed it right there, but look, tip drills are they're a little chaotic sometimes. It's not really, I mean, it is your fault a little bit, but as well, sometimes it's not, but it's a good opportunity for him right here to kind of get level a little bit, establish something, and try to get back into this football game.
Yeah, how do they respond? That's the question you got to ask right now. How do the Boswell Pioneers respond to this bit of adversity?
And a lot of weight on his shoulders tonight, as the run game is going to be a little bit less than what we usually see from Lassiter. So I wouldn't be shocked if they start to get Juju running a little bit, kind of in the read option, try to get him going here in this one, as Legacy ready to kick this one away. Pioneers back. This one will be caught at the 27-yard line and is brought out of bounds.
Yeah, there's James Barboza.
So Jaden Barboza getting a little bit of opportunities tonight, more than usual.
Yeah, Barboza taking the weight of the team here kind of on his back.
So here's a thought. Barboza's obviously the next man up at running back, but who do you think would step in as maybe as a change of pace, or even could be the potential game breaker for Boswell?
See, I'm wondering if Christian Lassiter would get a look. He's been a guy that returns kicks and and sometimes returns punts for the Pioneers. He plays defense, but I mean, he's a guy that's a really good athlete and can run the football well. Juju in the gun. He'll hand it off to Barboza. Big hole to the left, and that's his best run of the night to the 38-yard line.
And there's the difference between Barboza and Lassiter. Barboza just a north-south, head down, kind of a brawling type runner, where we see with Lassiter, he makes those cutbacks and shifty moves.
The Pioneers starting to spread the ball a little bit right there, and it helped on that run. Hands it off to Barboza, and he is stuffed. Legacy was all over. It looked like there was 4 of them already in the backfield as he got the handoff, as it'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, Legacy just really getting a good push with their guys, their down linemen. You got to shore that up.
So another quick 3rd down coming up for Boswell. They really need a 1st down to get some confidence and some life back into this team. Juju in the gun all alone. They're bringing the blitz. It's a little quick tunnel screen, and the Legacy is all over it as it was caught by Peyton Rhodes for a loss at the 29-yard line. And Jim, another loss to 6 and another possession without a 1st down, and Legacy's going to take over with about 3:30 to play here in the first quarter, up by 7.
Kind of makes you question, why are you going side to side and you're not, I mean, 10 yards, great. Some of those are usually or oftentimes productive, but 10 yards, and you've got to get your team some sort of motivation.
Yeah, you got to get some positive yardage there, as it will bring up a 4th and long. So,
well, the Pioneer coaching staff, they've got a lot of replacements in there. They've had a lot of injuries, and so a lot of times whenever you have kids like that or that are the next man up, stepping up, you try to keep it simple for them, and I think that's what we're seeing.
As Boswell calls a timeout here, it looks like they may have saw something as far as what was coming at them there on that punt.
Well, it looks like they didn't have the right not equipment, the
Personnel.
personnel package. That's the word I was looking for.
So some early mistakes here for Boswell. They've done pretty well in the penalty game though. No penalties so far to start this one, but just haven't really gotten going on offense. Only a few yards of positive yardage, and well, actually now they're probably in negative yardage after that possession. So they're just going to need to find a way to get something going offensively, and now defensively find a way to stop Jade Manning. I mean, they are running their offense through him. Pioneers ready to punt this one away. They barely get it off, and it will be, oh, it's muffed.
Oh,
It will be recovered, though, at the 39-yard line. Almost a dangerous territory there for Legacy. And it could have shifted that momentum, but, you know, number 7, Jackson Carr, was able to fall on it. He's made a few mistakes so far tonight early.
Hey, that's twice now. Legacy has been able to avoid disaster with a couple of turnovers of their own, able to jump back on the football in special teams. You'd like to see Boswell be able to capitalize on some of that.
and it makes you think too that that's going to be where Boswell's going to have to make their game, just like what Jim was saying.
Have to win on those opportunities. Wilson in the gun as they'll hand it off to Jawan. He'll take it up to the left, and look, I mean, they can't get anything going here with Jawan Harrison. He's only getting just a 1 or 2 yards per carry as they keep going away from Jade Manning, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 8.
But what I like
Was that Christian Laster?
That was Christian Lassiter.
Christian Laster. And what I like is he came up with some enthusiasm and energy, and that's what this football team really needs.
So Jawan Harrison remains at running back, 2nd and 8. Wilson looking. Nobody's open downfield. He's going to tuck in a run, though. Wilson's got a big hole, though. So they had a screen going for him towards the left, and it just opened up that middle part of the field. Everybody's swarmed over to the left side, and it opened up that big scramble as it's a 1st down.
Yeah, Brandon Severs had to catch up to him 20 yards downfield.
You don't typically see a quarterback have that big of a hole when you're dropping back to pass, but like we said, probably 3 of their offensive linemen were towards the left side on that screen, and that's just really good, smart quarterbacking right there. If you throw that football, you get an illegal man downfield. So Wilson remains in the gun with Harrison to his right. 1st and 10 from the 34. Wilson back to pass. He's going to run it up again, trying to make something nothing out of nothing. And it will be a gain of 2. Excuse me, a gain of 1.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Peyton, but that almost looked like it was by design.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little quarterback draw there. They may have saw something after that big game on the ground after that last run. So they continue to not have Jade Manning out there on the field, which is, in my opinion, pretty questionable.
Another kid that they don't have is Oribe.
Oribe is not at the nose position. Pioneers showing blitz. And he was not set. That receiver was not set when they snapped that ball. They sent a receiver in motion. It was not called. They'll bring up a 3rd and 1. So I would imagine right here, Jim, this is going to be 4-down territory for Legacy.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of numbers we don't normally see.
Oribe is now back in the game at nose. So Harrison remains at running back. Wilson at quarterback. Wilson hands it off to Harrison, and he'll get it out to the 20-yard line. That's his best run of the night. It'll be a Legacy 1st down. And now they'll bring out Jade Manning. So I'm starting to notice a little bit of something here from Legacy. They'd love
that was not Oribe. That was actually Ashton Davis, number 99.
Ashton Davis is in the game.
Yeah.
Interesting. Ashton Davis playing nose tonight over Oribe. We will keep tabs on that. Manning now in the game at tailback for Legacy. Wilson back to pass. Looking. Nobody's open. Tries to run up the middle. Bounces out to the left side. Great pocket mobility right there as he gets it to the 10-yard line. And Nathan Wilson making a little something out of nothing there.
Man, just a log jam there. You thought that they had him for a moment. Then he bounces outside for a big game.
So this is very interesting to see how Legacy is playing this year. So they're kind of going that old Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard approach where they're just pounding it up the middle with Jawan Harrison and then having the big play with Jaden Manning as he comes back out here on 2nd and 1. And they will hand it off to Manning. Manning gets it inside the 10 at the 7-yard line, and that'll do it for the first quarter of play here at Pioneer Stadium. And that is where we will leave off before the second as Legacy leads 7-0 over Boswell. Coming back out of the break here at Pioneer Stadium as this quarter is brought to you by All County Property Management.
Jim, tell us about All County.
What's that?
Tell us about All County.
All County Property Management. They're the guys in the game whenever you need to rent property or you want to rent a home and you need help. They do it all. They do the maintenance, they do the inspections, they collect the rent. They take the hassle out of renting property. And I tell you what, I rented some property many years back and it was a disaster. And I swore I'd never do it again. But if I ever do, it'll be All County Property Management.
Legacy coming back out on the field here to start the second quarter play. Jaden Manning back in the game at running back, and this is a really big opportunity to go up by 2 possessions here. High snap. Oh, no, it's a little trick play. It's a direct snap to Manning. He dives, and it's a touchdown. So it was a little trick play where they acted like the ball went over the head of Nathan Wilson, but it was a direct snap to Manning, and he bounces it in the end zone for a gain of 7 and a touchdown as Legacy leads by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, not good at all. And for the Pioneers, I mean, they've got to get something going offensively. They have kind of been tough to find their identity here without Lassiter and without Kyrell Robertson. A lot of guys just trying to find a way to step up in their placement. The PAT is good, and I mean, look, you got to find a way to slow it down and keep your defense off of the field. I mean, they've been playing a lot here in this first quarter, a lot of possessions, and you don't want to tire them out, especially early.
All right.
Pioneers ready to return this one. They trail 14-0.
Shout out to Matt Winchell, who was our sideline reporter before the game. If you missed that, go back and watch that. As Matt did a wonderful job down there on the sideline. We're going to try to develop that over the coming weeks. As we're very excited to have somebody actually down on the field.
It's never a bad thing to have more people here at Boswellsports. As Legacy ready to kick this one away, a very important offensive possession coming up for Boswell. As this one is booted deep and will be caught 2 yards deep at the end zone. Pioneers will take it out, though, to the 16-yard line, and that may have been a mistake right there. Could have had the touchback and brought out to the 25. Instead, the Pioneers will take over at the 15.
Yeah, 15-yard line. They got to go 85 yards for a score to try to climb back into this football game.
So if I'm the Pioneer offense, I'm just trying to find a way to get some confidence into this team. Get some confidence for Barboza, get some confidence for Juju. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Let's run some slants. Don't need anything big downfield. You just need a first down at this point. As Boswell will have Barboza out here at running back to start. Trips to the left. Juju looks like he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage. 5 on the play clock. Low snap. Juju has to fall on it, though. As it was just tragic from the beginning.
Yep, just those mistakes. It's for me, Peyton. It almost seems like Coach Abinchan used to say all the time is you got to make it where your team doesn't have to think.
Yep.
That it's just they act off of instinct and they have fun. right now it's hard to see if that's happening with the Boswell Pioneers.
So trips to the left, Juju in the gun. Fake handoff throws it. This one is caught across the middle, out to the 20, and that's how you get some confidence and some life back into your team there.
Yeah, that's Traxel with a catch, and that's what we're looking for. We talked about it in the pregame that Rhodes and Traxel were going to have to be that X factor. They were going to have to come in and make those catches they didn't make last week.
So 3rd and 6 coming up. They need a first down, have not gotten one so far tonight as they sit here at their own 21-yard line. Juju back to pass. Looking, throws it to Trammell. This one is triple covered and incomplete. So they tried to throw the stick there to Jackson Trammell, but there was 3 Legacy defensive backs there and just deflected that football. Thankfully, that ball was not picked off. And the punting unit will have to come back out here as the Boswell offense has yet again not gotten a first down.
Yeah, have not gotten the first down yet.
I've been noticing over the last couple of games, it doesn't seem like Juju's going through his reads. I would have clearly seen that one. 3 on him. Look on the other side.
The Pioneers will punt this one away. And it takes a bad bounce for Boswell. And just not seeing a lot of life there as they just let that ball fall and roll. And not a lot of energy and not a lot of passion, as you said, Jim, earlier, on that, especially on that punt, as Legacy will take over in Pioneer territory.
You know, Keith, as you were talking about Juju and the quarterback, I do believe that we're seeing a different quarterback out there on the field.
Yeah.
When we talked about the Braswell game and even into, I think, the Haltom game, we saw some confidence there. He was able to go through his progression, go through his reads, make those escapes, find receivers downfield. I think he's just trying to find a guy he can trust to get open and catch the football.
Wilson in the gun with Manning to his right. They'll hand it off to Manning, and he's just done everything tonight, and he will do it there. Big hole, made a move at the second level, and it's a touchdown. Legacy are just doing anything they can.
Well, there is a flag on the play.
So this
right
one,
at the 41-yard line.
Man, Jaden Manning may be, usually running backs, treat your offensive linemen well, but I don't think he's been treating them well tonight. That is 2 big touchdown runs that have been taken back because of them tonight.
Oh, yeah, good break for the Boswell Pioneers.
That's a 15-yard penalty, isn't it? Block below the waist or chop block?
Yeah, that will be. That'll bring it back 15. So this is an opportunity here, Jim. If you're Boswell, you get a stop. All of a sudden, you get some momentum and some life back into your team, especially late here in the first half. So it'll bring up a 1st and 25. They will keep Jaden Manning out on the field, and he's just done a little bit of everything here in the first half, has not been able to be stopped. And we'll see what happens here. Wilson back to pass, looking down the field. He's going to throw it. This one is incomplete. Just oversailed his target just a little bit. He had a step on him, though. Bring up 2nd and 25. So Legacy trying to open up their playbook a little bit, and that was a play, Jim. That was one of those ones where you just try to put a knife through the heart and just try to take all the life out of the Pioneer sideline there. And luckily for Boswell, the ball was not caught. So 2nd and 25 from their own 43.
Yeah, they've kind of taken the life out of this crowd here as well. We've got the stands are about, I don't know, 90% filled, but pretty quiet.
Yeah, screen.
There you go.
Screen is caught there by number 1, Lewis Wilkerson, out to the 43-yard line. It's not a gain of much. Actually, it's a gain of nothing. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 25. So this is now a big play for the Pioneer defense. Get that offense back on the field, have a big stop, and try to get some life and some momentum into your offense. Because, I mean, look, Jim, you get a touchdown here before the end of the half. You get the ball to start the second half. You can all of a sudden turn this game around a little bit. But it all starts here on this play.
It's the little victories.
Yep.
You got to win on each play.
Arguably the play of the game right here.
So Wilson back to pass. This is going to be a legal motion against Legacy. So this will be coming back as it is caught. Broken tackle as Pioneers didn't wrap up. They went high as it is brought to the 34-yard line. But like I said, Jim, this is going to be coming back. It was a legal motion. Receiver was moving on the outside before the snap, so this one will be coming back. As we await the call.
Oh, let's take a break.
As it was a legal motion against Legacy. And we will take a quick timeout here on Boswell Sports.
Off of 7-3 through 35 down on Boat Club Road, there's a place folks gather and let their troubles unload. Red's Barbecue delights under a Texas sky, with brisket, sausage ribs, and chicken fry. Juicy burger stacking high, Red's fries on my plate. Flavor so rich my mouth can't wait. Hey, the man, he's got the magic touch. A bite of heaven, it's never too much. Oh, Red's Barbecue, making move like a cow. Tasting Texas pride, no stopping now. From sun up to sundown, this place feels right. Red's Barbecue, every single bite. Fried steak, crispy and brown, the tastiest food in our lives.
Coming back out of the break here, it's going to be a 3rd and 30. We'll just call it a mile up here for Legacy from their own 38. As Pioneers are basically in their Hail Mary coverage. They've got 4 guys back here, but that's also one of those things here where you just got to worry that they run a little screen or something and just try to get 15, 20 yards, and then all of a sudden you're in a pretty rocky spot. So Wilson back to pass. He's looking, and they will throw a little tunnel screen out to the right. This one is caught by number 7, Jackson Carr, and he's brought down at the 47-yard line.
Probably unsportsmanlike because there was a little bit of chippiness going on. Yeah.
And there is a flag on the play against the Pioneers. As we await the call from the head official. So it is a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the Pioneers, and instead of having a first down, you bite yourself in the butt, and now Legacy will take over and have a new set of downs. So
in Pioneer territory.
Yeah, costly mistake. Manning to his right, Wilson back to pass, under pressure, rolls out to his left. As he's showing off his speed here, and he'll get out of bounds. And this is just a flag galore, as there's another penalty thrown here. It's probably going to be a hold, but man, these officials tonight really showing out for the Foot Locker community.
Well, I did ask that question to have Matt go interview the referees before the game.
I mean, shoot, he may need to. These have been the MVPs in this one.
Well, let's be honest. There's a lot of sloppy play going on.
A lot of sloppy play. A lot of mistakes.
I do believe, though, that the referees have more yards than both teams.
They are pretty close, I would say. That official, he just said it. He was like, man, that's some really good mustard right there. I'm going to keep it on the lettuce. As we await the call here. So it's a personal foul against the offense. This will bring them back a little bit.
So 15 yards forward and 15 yards back.
Woof.
Oh.
So it will bring up a 1st and 12 from the 45-yard line for. Oh wait, no, they're gonna move the ball back. All right, a lot of confusion down here. It'll be on the 50 now. And now another official's coming in, and there's going to be a timeout on the field, as I think the officials took this timeout. The officials here are having a little bit of a miscommunication as where the ball is going to be spotted. And man, we're seeing mistakes from all three teams tonight: officials, Legacy, and the Pioneers.
That's
Even
first game of the season.
even Turf Monster had his shot.
Yeah, even Turf Monster came out of nowhere. You never know what can happen here at Pioneer Stadium. We're besides seeing cats and squirrels run on the field, I think we're gonna get close to seeing everything tonight.
Or are we having a booth review?
There you go. I think I've made a mistake or two. I'll put myself into that same group.
I will too, Jim.
Not me. I've been perfect on the computer.
I tell you what, I'm so glad that you're back at the helm because last week I was like, I don't know how this guy does it.
You trained me well, sir.
It will be 1st and 17.
17. That looks like 27.
22. First and 22
Yeah,
now.
22. So Legacy, a little bit of deja vu here. Is there, a long way to go right
Yep.
there at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, 1st and 22 with 8:31 to play here in the first 7. If you're a football fan, this has been an interesting one to watch so far here in this one. Wilson in the gun. Pioneers showing blitz. Back to pass. Showing a lot of pressure. Pioneers bring him down, and it's a sack. And that's the momentum you need
Yep.
as he's brought down by number 36, Tiago Torres, the junior. And we'll bring up a 2nd and 27. And look, that's some life you need in your defense and your offense. You need something like that happen.
So I was talking about that deja vu. They get another 3-yard loss here, and they'll be back to 3rd and 30 again.
Like I said, this has been the complete opposite game than I kind of expected tonight. 2nd and 27 from their own 45. It looks like a screen. Wilson throws it. He'll just throw it on the ground. Incomplete. A receiver was in the area, though, so it won't be grounding. They'll bring up a 3rd and 27. Whew.
Oh, I tell you what, listening to the crowd, we finally have some decent crowd noise or crowd mic, and there's just nothing going on.
Yeah. It has been very quiet, especially on both sides, really.
Even the moms have just gone silent.
Yeah.
tonight.
Not hearing the jingle bells here in this one. 3rd and 27. We'll call it a mile and a quarter for Legacy. Pioneers showing blitz. Wilson back to pass. Steps up in the pocket, rolls out to the right, trying to make something out of nothing, and he will be brought down at the 40. Well, they'll give him the 48-yard line. Gain of about 3, and no flags down. The Pioneers will get this ball back after a long drive that saw Legacy.
That was Torres again.
Yeah, Torres is making something out of nothing here.
And
Playing well.
What I saw was that he grabbed hold and he threw his body weight to the ground. Instead of just trying to keep going with him until the runner went down, he forced his authority on and pulled him down.
The Legacy will boot this one away. It will be fair caught at the 19-yard line. So now, Jim, 6:57, 2 timeouts for the Pioneers. Well, more than enough time to get in the end zone. What do you think the Pioneers need to do here offensively to try to get something going and get a first down?
That's it. They just got to get a first down and then get another one and another one
And another
until they're in the end zone. I mean, they certainly they don't have the capability to make the big long play without Chance Laster in the lineup. So you just got to take it one step at a time.
So Juju will hand it off to Barboza. A good hole out to the left. He gets it to the 24-yard line. And hey, that's a good start there. You get a gain of 6, set up a 2nd and 4. Ground and pound. Ground and pound. Try to get something out of nothing and get that first down. As they are 5 yards away from the 6. Trips to the right for Juju with Barboza to his left. Fake handoff. Throws it out to the left side. That ball, it seemed like it was floated out there.
Kind of floated a little bit behind, underthrown.
Yeah, that was to Garrett Lovelace on the left, and then it will bring up another dreaded 3rd down for the Pioneers, but it will be a 3rd and 5, a little bit more manageable here than 3rd and 10. But they really need a 1st down here to get some life and some confidence, not only for this offense, but the entire team. As Barboza now will shift out to the right, and they're going to go empty.
Yep.
So Juju in the gun. Back to pass, showing pressure. They'll throw it, and this one is dropped. Incomplete, and it'll bring up a 4th and 5. And, man, the Pioneers just cannot get anything going offensively. They will have yet another drive without a 1st down here against the Legacy defense, who is, look, I mean, you look at Legacy compared to Crowley, much more different team defensively.
You know, we saw that read option a few weeks back. I'm surprised that they're not making Juju more of a weapon with his legs.
Yeah, you would think at this point the Pioneers, they need to get something going. Try to get somebody going. It can't just be Juju throwing the ball and Barboza running all the time. It's a high snap. They get it away. It's a little bit of a short punt though, as it bounces inside the 50 again. And that is where, and there's a flag.
That's going to be unsportsmanlike on number 7.
Number 7 for the Broncos.
Yeah,
Broncos.
so that's Jackson Carr. So Jackson Carr making a lot of mistakes tonight for Legacy. A lot of costly penalties. And this will bring them back 15 yards. It was number 4 for Legacy. That was Antonio Mathis. So, Keith, what did you see down there? I missed it.
After the play, it looked like he had grabbed the I don't remember which Pioneer it was, but grabbed the helmet and just shook and just yanked.
Kind of did what George Pickens did the other night after the Steelers lost to the Cowboys to Jordan Lewis. So a lot of penalties so far for Legacy, and it's kind of keeping the Pioneers inside this two possession game. So Jaden Manning back at running back. Fake handoff. Wilson throws it to the left side, and he's brought down a big tackle. That's number 14, Christian Carrington. That is how you do it, Jim.
Yeah, Christian Carrington bringing the heat.
Laying the lumber, as they would say, Jim. Laying the lumber. 2nd and 4.
You wrap and drive.
Yeah, nice open field tackle by Carrington that time.
So 2nd and 4 for Legacy. Wilson in the gun with Manning to his right. They're giving him a lot of opportunity. This is going to be a false start. Another penalty against Legacy. We've got to be up to probably 8 or 9 penalties so far for Legacy, and it's just really keeping the Pioneers in this football game.
And you think about that football team at the first of the season with against Denton Braswell. Totally different football team that we're seeing here tonight for the Boswell Pioneers. I think if these two teams faced off in that first week, Boswell's all over.
I think so too, Jim. I mean, with the injuries that the Pioneers have suffered, I mean, you never want to say, you're going to make up excuses, but man, it really puts you behind the 8 ball, especially when you have such a young team already. Wilson in the gun now, 2nd and 9 from their own 37. Fake handoff. They're really wanting to pass it here. This one's going to be thrown across the middle, wide open, and it's caught. This one's going to be Jackson Carr, and he takes it to the house. It's a touchdown, actually Lewis Wilkerson, and no penalties this time for Legacy, and they will take a 3-touchdown lead. And actually, false alarm. It is a penalty. It's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Legacy, and we're just going to have to change their name to the Legacy penalties tonight, that's just all they've done. My word.
So does this touchdown count?
This touchdown will count, but it will be tacked on the kickoff. That is where the penalty will be brought, but it is now a Pioneer deficit of 3 touchdowns.
Definitely getting chippy down on the field, though.
But it's on the wrong teams getting chippy.
And Boswell's not taking advantage of it.
So the officials will continue their footlocker meeting here at the 2-yard line.
Well, they're wanting some clock management going on their side too. They got the most yards, so.
As they flip through their notebooks, and one of them puts it in their back pocket.
So, do you think that if he did this, we should do that?
And this official reaches for his microphone and he's waiting to make the ball.
And so here's X plus 25 minus 36.
And here's the ball. Oh my goodness. So there was 3 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties against Legacy on the celebration, and
Okay, so if there's 4 players, is it 15 yards for each one?
no, it'll be only one 15-yard
dang,
penalty, unfortunately.
Because you've seen it before where there's they had 2 or 3 penalties and it's 30 yards or.
So speaking about rules of football, Jim, so this is one I think there needs to be a rule change, right? Let's talk about this. Sometimes there's plays where there's 2 penalties on one team and 1 penalty on the other. I feel like it should not be an offsetting. It should just be those 2 are offsetting, and then the one that is tacked on should be the penalty. That's what it should be, but I digress. I talk about rules in sports, and that don't make sense all the time, and that one just doesn't make sense to me. But as we bring it back out here to Pioneer Stadium, taking a look here at Coach Weaver on the sidelines, and man, he just wants some life into his team before the end of the break. If you can make this a 2-score game, Jim, right at the halftime, you could put yourself in a really good spot. But I mean, man, do you need to get something going on offense to give yourself a shot?
Well, being 21 down, a team that doesn't have a lot of confidence to begin with, it's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
It is a very uphill battle, but they do have an opportunity here as Legacy's going to be kicking this one off from their own 25-yard line. So it's going to be a little bit of a different look than we're used to after this penalty on the kickoff. Usually kickoff at the 40. This one is 15 yards back. With 5:25 to play here in the first half and 2 timeouts. And this one is just going to be a squib kick. And Pioneers are not falling on it, though. This one's picked up at the 22-yard line. Lassiter brings it to the right side. He's not going upfield, now going backwards. Trying to make something out of nothing. Christian Lassiter! Oh, if he breaks out of that one, he could have housed it. Woo!
Another flag on the play.
And another flag on the field, Jim. And, I mean, we may have to get
Looks like that's going to be against Boswell, though.
We may have to get the pitch counter out. I mean, these referees are going to need a substitution.
Yeah, so my question is, after 100 flags thrown, do they have to change out officials?
You would think. As this one is a penalty against the Pioneers, and it looks like it was an unsportsmanlike against Christian Lassiter.
No, it was actually a chop block.
Chop block. Okay.
Chop block.
So chop block is called.
They've really focused on that this year.
They really have. The Pioneers will take over at their own 13. 87 yards to get into the end zone, and they have yet to get a first down on offense. Juju in the gun with Barbosa to his right. Hands it off to Barbosa. Oh, no, he keeps it on the read option. We've been waiting for it, Jim. There it is. Positive yardage, and it's a late hit. It will be an automatic first down, and the Pioneers have their first down of the night.
That's pretty tough whenever you have to celebrate a first down
On a penalty.
on a penalty.
So it was a late hit out of bounds, and I think that's what's going to happen. They need to get Juju going in the run game a little bit. Try to make something out of nothing. You don't want to get your quarterback injured, but you also want to get some points on the board. So it will be a first down from their own 34, and that's just a sigh of relief for both the offensive staff and the players on the field. Now you can breathe a little bit. Now go after it. Go get in the end zone. Juju in the gun as they get a different play call here with 5:07 remaining in the first quarter. Back to pass. Throws it to the right. This one is caught by Jackson Trammell. And that's all you need to do.
And what I like to see is you're going out of bounds. So you're preserving game clock.
Yep.
Potentially, if you score here, leaves a little bit of extra time with your 2 timeouts that you've got on top of that.
Correct. Good point there. You could have a little 2-for-1 opportunity. So that's all you need to do. Get some dink and dunks going and get Juju going. As they'll throw it out of bounds, I think the play was just broken from the start, so Juju just decided to throw it out.
Well, he saw Kyrell Robertson, who's got the football over there on the sideline.
Kyrell Robertson tonight will will not be playing, as it seems like. Hopefully he's back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And next week is the bye week. So 3rd and 1 for Boswell from their own 43. Legacy showing blitz. Hands it off to Barboza. It's going to be close. I think he got it, though, on forward progress. He did. Oh, wait, no, he's short. He's short by a yard.
It's a little slow to hit the hole.
And now it's decision time for Boswell. You're down 21, 4:40 left here in the first half.
You got to go.
Yeah, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, I think you go for it. I mean,
You're 3 scores down. You might as well.
You need some confidence here. They're gonna bunch everybody up here though. 4th and 1 from their own 43. Juju in the gun. Fake handoff. Looks, throws. This one's caught. First down. Here we go. Down the sideline.
No.
And some life for the Pioneers, but there may have been a penalty. This one may be coming back.
At the 46.
As a flag is down at the 46, and if you love big plays tonight, Jim, you can't watch them because no team can get one because penalties are everywhere.
You get a penalty, and you get a penalty.
The officials do not like big plays. Do not have anything longer than 15 yards. If you do, you will be called for a penalty.
I hate big plays, and they cannot.
What do we got? Holding here?
Yeah.
As we await the call from the official, and this may...
Offensive pass interference. Is that what they?
Or
were they just saying?
I don't think everybody was set at the line of scrimmage, is what they stated. And why is the Pioneers running up? What has happened?
Oh, I guess they're waving it off.
Oh, so no, it was called
against Legacy.
It was called against Legacy, so it's a first down for the Pioneers. A big play.
Wow.
They love the big play, Jim. They love it. We're back. 1st and 10 from the 33 now coming up for the Pioneers, and now some life into your team.
I really think that they waved off the flag because that was where the down was.
Well, why would Legacy do that?
No. I think the officials picked it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go now. Some life for the Pioneers with 4:15 to play here in the first half. Juju in the gun. He'll hand it. Oh, no, fake handoff. He'll throw it. This one's tipped and picked again. Unfortunate again for the Pioneers as they were driving down the field, and another tip drill is batted up in the air as we see the replay over on the scoreboard. Juju throws it, and it was tipped up by the linebacker and then picked off by the DB, and that will just drain so much momentum out of your team. My goodness.
Well, and you think about how much time that this defense has actually spent
on
the field here in the first half.
It has been a lot on the field. That is now 2 interceptions, and there's been only, I think, 2 or 3 first downs that the Pioneer offense has gotten, and it came on that last drive. So they have been on the field a whole lot here in the first half. I don't think there's gonna be many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at halftime. Wilson back to pass, throws it down the field. He's got a step on him. It's caught. And it's going to be a walk-in touchdown for Legacy, and this game has been fully blown open. Jackson Carr on the reception, and Legacy now leads by 4 scores.
That's pretty tough.
Pretty tough.
It's pretty tough. That may be the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Jim. Pioneers lacking most of their stars tonight. It's a very young team, and they have just been really exposed tonight, I think, for their youth. As Legacy ready to kick the PAT here and make it a 28-0 ball game in the first half, as the PAT is good. So with 3:50 left here in the first half, we want to remind you that next week the Pioneers will be on a bye week, a much-needed bye week for this team, as a lot of injuries all up and down the roster, both on offense and defense. And you look over here, Jim, if you want to zoom it out a little bit, we have got the entire team yet again for the 2nd straight week being huddled up here by Coach Weaver. This is usually a move that Coach Ab used to do when he was the head coach, and this is one of those moments when it's like, wake up. It's time to wake up, and we need to get something going here on this next drive, as it has been not the night they've been looking for here to start this game on homecoming night here in the first half, as we await the kickoff.
Man.
You think there's a lovely conversation happening down there, Jim, right now?
Yeah, Coach Weaver is fired up.
Yeah, definitely not happy from the start that they've had so far
And
here in
it's
the
tough.
first half.
You know, Peyton, I played, I think back when they first invented the football game. And,
Oh, Jim.
you know, I was on a team like this.
Uh-huh.
I think we won one game my entire career.
Mm-hmm.
I scored the only touchdown in that game. It was a 7-0 win over Cleburne. And I got to tell you, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough on all those kids.
Yeah, it can be mentally and physically draining, especially with just the injuries. And I mean, you sit there, you look up, and one of your brothers is just down again, and it's like, man.
Well, you look at the scoreboard and you see 28-0, and you think to yourself, you know, it's going to be almost impossible to come back and win this game. And that's the way we played. You know, we would have those 30-0 first halves, and guys would get down, they would lose their desire to fight.
Yep.
And so it's tough as a coach on that sideline to get down there and try to instill in them that, hey, we still got a whole nother half of football to play.
Yeah. As the Pioneers coming out here, and I mean, now at this point, Jim, it is must score possession. They need a touchdown before the end of the break. Here's a handoff to Barboza as he finds a hole, gets a good gain out to the 29-yard line. It's a gain of 4.
Well, and they're kind of they kind of have their hands tied.
Yeah.
You don't have your number one running back. You don't have your number one receiver.
Don't have your number 2 running back
You got
either.
2 interceptions now off of tip drill.
Here's a good run for Barboza as he'll get it close to the sticks. It's going to bring up a 3rd and about 1.
You know, something that haven't seen so far that we would see a lot with Christian or with Chance was the other players coming to give them that push from behind.
Yeah.
You don't see them doing that with
That's just
Barboza.
it. They don't have that energy. They don't have that collective energy.
3rd and 1 with 2:55 remaining in the first half, and this is going to be a false start against the Pioneers. As the mistakes will tack on, and it'll be a 3rd and 6 coming up, and it has been a long night for the Pioneers over here.
1 step forward, 3 step back.
Yep.
The good news is that in 2 minutes and 51 seconds, we will have the halftime presentation. We'll have the homecoming. I don't know if the band's going to play. They may wait until after the game, but we will have the homecoming, so stick with us for that.
3rd and 6, Juju rolling out to his right. Under pressure, throws this one up. This one is way out of bounds. Intended for Peyton Rhodes, and it'll bring up a 4th down as we have a timeout on the field, so we will take one as well here on Boswell Sports.
If you're a fan of classic rock and tired of hearing the same old songs over and over, you need to tune in to thezoo.net. Thousands of songs in the library. Radio like it used to be.
I don't know. I think that may be Juju. As we're coming out of the break here. 4th and 6. Now for the Pioneers, they're going to put this one away from their own 24. 2:31 remaining. As this one is booted away as it takes a Pioneer bounce out to the 42-yard line. Excuse me, the 38-yard line.
Is there another flag?
And there is another flag on the field, and I think this one's going to be going against the Pioneers for an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Where is the flag? Oh, way over there on the other side.
Yep. As we await the call. Pioneers trailing 28-0 here with 2:20 remaining in the first half. Still awaiting a call, man. The officials are just loving the TV time tonight, Jim.
I'm telling you, they're going to have to ask for a raise for all the overtime.
So it was a legal formation against the Pioneers. It was declined, though, by Legacy, so they will still take over from where they're at. And with 2:20 remaining here in the first half and 3 timeouts for them, I mean, there's more than enough time for Legacy to get in the end zone again and just really put this game out of reach and possibly put in the backups early in the third quarter. So here we go. Wilson in the gun with Jawan to his right. Wilson rolling out to his right. A lot of time as he throws it on the run. This one is caught at about the 49-yard line. Good.
Christian Laster.
Christian Laster on the tackle.
Tackle for the Pioneers.
Oh my word! Do we have a penalty again? We do.
It's gonna be.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
I saw that one.
See. So it's against Legacy, and look, we should be happy about this, right? But as football fans, it gets to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, can we just
let them play?
Let them play a little bit. My word. So it works out for the Pioneers, though. It'll bring up a 1st and 20, and it seems like we've seen Legacy with these 20 and 25 to go a lot on these last few possessions. As this may be one of the most penalized first half games I've ever seen
I think you're right.
here at Pioneer Stadium. I mean, it has been.
I think we're easily approaching 200 yards penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be close, especially with the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So Wilson rolling out to his right. A lot of time again, throws it on the run. I think it was the same play as it is incomplete. Good coverage right there from Christian Carrington. He's done pretty well tonight in the secondary for Boswell. As there is no penalties. So that is good for Boswell.
I gotta go back to one of the comments that I made earlier again. They're gonna have to put somebody else in at running back. Somebody.
So 2nd and 20 coming up for Legacy. So this is now an opportunity for the Pioneer defense. You give your team a shot here to try getting in the end zone before the end of the break. Wilson will hand it off to Jawan to the right side, and that's probably his best run of the night as he's brought down at the 39-yard line. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 9 with about 150 remaining. And I'd imagine here, Jim, with 150 remaining and Boswell 1 timeout, I bet Legacy's going to wind this clock down just a little bit just to make sure they can manage the clock. And no, they'll snap it early, actually. Wilson throws it to his right. This one is going to be caught
for a first down.
And it'll be a first down. Just easy pitch and catch there, as that was Dondre Thomas on the reception for Legacy. And now they're going to be playing quick 2-minute offense, and the Pioneers are just going to be trying to get it to the locker room down by 28. Wilson hands it off to Jawan up the middle, breaks a tackle inside the 50. He gets close to the 45. They actually give him the 45. That was not where he was brought down. So an interesting spot there. Actually, no, they'll bring it back to the 44. Give him the 44 and a half. 105 remaining clock, continuing the roll. as they'll stick with Jawan Harrison Jr. at tailback. I'm surprised they have not put Manning back in. Wilson, back to pass, looks under pressure, and now he's going to tuck it and run it. Gets it down. He's brought down right at the 40-yard line. Good tackle there. As it'll be a timeout by Legacy with 46 seconds remaining. We'll stay here, though, as they have 2 timeouts remaining.
And it was enough for a first down.
Yeah, it was enough for the first down. So a lot of time still for Legacy, considering they have 2 timeouts left to try and get into the end zone. They've made a lot of big plays tonight through the air, something that they really haven't done so far this season. But we talked about it in the pregame, Jim. When you can run the football effectively, it opens up the field, and that's kind of what we've seen so far from Legacy
And
tonight.
I don't think that the defensive backs for Boswell can keep up with the receivers. That's what it seems like to me, is that the quarterback is holding on to it just long enough for them to break, and
and get good separation.
And then that's it, because they just can't catch up.
As we'll come out of the break here with 46 seconds remaining here in the first half of play. It has been a long one, folks. Does not feel like it has been only an hour and 15 minutes, I'll tell you that.
That's all it's been?
Yeah, it's only 8:15. Wilson back to pass. Under pressure, throws it across the middle, and this one is caught yet again at the 20-yard line, as that was Dondre Thomas again. So the clock will stop as the chains move. At 40 seconds, it will resume when the ball is when the ball is placed.
Yeah, Legacy receivers are doing a good job of getting good separation.
Yeah, Wilson's done a really good job tonight throwing under pressure too. Wilson back to pass. Looks, throws to his left. It was now. I said he's been great under pressure, as he wanted to make me look like a fool up here, as he'll bring up a second attempt. So now 25 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ball on the 19. We want to remind you that tonight is homecoming here at Pioneer Stadium, so stay tuned for the homecoming queen will be announced.
Yeah.
So that will happen. The king does happen on the Saturday, so you will not hear the king tonight. So stay tuned for the homecoming queen announcement. 2nd and 10 coming up. Wilson rolling to his right, throws it on the run. This ball is caught at about the 15-yard line, and it's going to be a timeout by Legacy with about, it says 16 on our official game clock, but I think they may give them 17 seconds here. I think that's when that timeout came in, but
Pioneers playing really soft that time.
yeah, a lot of soft coverage there. I think they're just trying to protect the end zone, as it'll bring up a 3rd and 5 out of the timeout. They don't give them 17 seconds, though, so it will remain 16 seconds on the game clock, and it's now really just desperation time for the Pioneers to try and not allow a score. And there's a really big opportunity, though. So if Legacy does not get a first down and they stay in bounds, this clock will wind. So I imagine they may try to run their field goal unit out quick and try to kick it off, kind of like how TCU did 2 years ago against Baylor. If you guys remember that game, sorry to the Baylor fans for bringing that one up here on the broadcast.
Just pour that salt in the wind.
As it'll bring up a 3rd and 5. They're right back out here, and here's the man, Jaden Manning, back at running back. He's been the star tonight for Legacy at the tailback position. Pioneer showing blitz. Wilson back to pass. Wilson under pressure from his backside, tucks in and runs it up the middle. He's going to be brought down short. Oh, he's right at it.
The line.
Did they give him it, though? Clock's still running, though. 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2. I don't think they're going to get it off. Didn't get it off. This is it. That'll do it for the first half of play. So good stop for the Pioneer defense. And it will remain a 28-0 ball game here at Pioneer Stadium with Legacy leading.
All right, so we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have the halftime festivities with homecoming here, and then we'll get back into the 3rd quarter where hopefully the Pioneers can make some adjustments and climb back into this football game here on Boswell Sports.
barbecue, making moo like a cow. Tasting Texas pride, no stopping now. From sun up to sundown, this place feels right. Red's barbecue, every single bite.
All right, welcome back to halftime. As we will have the Legacy Band come out and perform, and then after that, we'll have the presentation of the Homecoming Queen. As it is homecoming here, the Boswell Pioneers trail the Broncos 28-0. And let's hope they can make some adjustments here at halftime as they do get the football back to start the third quarter. And we'll have that exciting action right after this break.
The Mormon Silver Show! I've been here about the state. The legacy Broncos. The legacy Broncos have got to recognize the strength of the legacy. Joining the Admiral City, the Admiral Woodward is acting for a little life and doing the dream. That's what has to do the legacy and living game. Pressure was 5 good. Turn our simple with the list of riders. Guard the future, Johnson Warren, Danny Maryland, Henry Allen. March of the are clear ability for Michael Sullivan. Guard is clear win, and 6 are the institution. Tonight, the latest is one of the first 20 movements in the 2024 state property, which is just the rights and ability. Prior to by Ryan George, and just the road by Smith. Now, under the permits of the year's battle for it is included in the action plan. Legacy Minister, the latest Chicago Council. Ladies and gentlemen, please translate Broncos Market Training. The color guard for the next Mr. Very Thursday. When our sample temperature is up, once for 3 line level, let's do it. Two, two, and what is the difference between the levels of the brand and the real business? Thank you for the church of our presence. It's working people about high sustainability. We welcome the legacy Broncos for Anthony Dennis and Christopher Robinson. The legacy is posted in message on corporate sponsors, just like the correction, local access technology, and full reservation wellness identified. And it continues to support the legacy for we would like to thank the families and friends. Dr. Norwood and Dr. Frank Rowe. This is great. Zero field, the door of over 6. Also, with this computer, along with all of our equipment. On the fifth floor of the school, Dr. Jeff Benjamin. Dr. Rowe, the entire school. This is back to the thank you for your hospitality. That's good. The team from volleyball here was studying the physical therapy. The plans to transfer and burn her education. The right to be her Leon is escorted by her father. Our next one is Boston. The son of American and Earl Boston. PJ is involved in his typical. It makes the technology Texas where the other things three footballs and music with theology, aspirations and the plan of physical therapists. PJ will like experience for friends from a lot of sports and office learning. He just took the CD by his brother and Ryan Boston. Our poor is our final one is and congratulations, race parts of teachers, joining the relationship program with the boundaries of serving in the U.S. Division. And like the other sporting and cities to be quite a best friend. This is another is actually a shot. This was one of the first comments. That was supportive and express a direction to a movement and support evidence. That was supported by her father, Senator Stark. Let's give our 24 quarter. I just think it's hey, it's really it's not true. My friends, available to continue doing for the morning by university. Getting the current the key, restore and now it's the public for And he's actually
Chris?
Are we back?
We should be back. Yes.
All right, we are back here at Pioneer Stadium after the homecoming king and queen. How do you say that? Awardings or nominations or yeah, awardings and declarations as we wrap that up here from Pioneer Stadium, and now we are joined with our sideline reporter Matt Winchell. He's in the booth now, taking over for Jim Howard, who is going to man the cameras here in the second half. And Matt, what do you think we need to see here for the Pioneers here in the second half?
Man, I would say we need to see more energy. The energy just seems to be sucked out right now as you look at the mannerisms of the team.
Yeah.
More defense, but more stops. Definitely need more stops. I think the secondary needs to play a little better for sure.
Agreed on that point, as this quarter is brought to you by thezoo.net. As Legacy kicks this one away, and it will be returned by Christian Lassiter at the 2-yard line. He's trying to make something out of nothing, cuts around, and he'll get it, pushing the pile to about the 20-yard line. As we hear whistles, and thankfully no mustard on the lettuce yet. 10 seconds into the second half.
Up isn't yet.
My word.
Well, it seems like that second quarter there was the whole entire field.
Yeah.
A lot of mustard.
Well, we were talking up here, Matt. We were saying that the officials probably have more yards than any of these teams here in the first half.
I would agree.
So here we go. The Pioneer offense now taking the field, and it looks like Juju is now out of the game, so Barboza is the new quarterback for the Pioneers. So Barboza will take over at quarterback. He'll keep it on the ground, read option. Barboza to the right side. He'll get it to the 30, and look, a new sign of life. You never know what could happen. It's a first down for the Pioneers.
Well, there's mustard on there.
And there's another flag. We got one play. I mean, at this point, like we said, there was a penalty against Legacy the last drive. And we were like, can we just let the guys play at this point? Like, it's just and
Legacy.
It's against Legacy, but again, it's like, man, I just want to watch football without a penalty every 2 plays.
But maybe we were talking to while we were enjoying our taco casa. There had to be some sort of change, right, in order to incite something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is it.
Yeah, this may be it. So here's Barboza. He's going to hand it off up the middle, trying to figure out who the new tailback is. It's going to be number 30. We don't have a number 30, so this is going to be interesting in the booth. We have an unnamed tailback in the ball game, who is now the 4th string running back. We don't know his name. Barboza will hand it off to the unnamed guy again, and hey, the unnamed guy making some moves, and he gets close to the sticks. It'll be a first down.
You know, they might be looking at this like we put some fresh blood in here.
Yep.
You know,
Change it up.
change it up. I mean, you have nothing to lose.
So Barboza remains at quarterback. He'll hand it off again to the unnamed running back, and hey, the unnamed running back,
Wow.
man,
Playing
he's
with-
doing it all.
with enthusiasm.
As he gets out to the 37-yard line. And, man, I wish we had a name for this guy because he definitely deserves it up here so far, as they're going to make an offensive line change at the left guard position.
I do like the dynamic that Barboza puts at quarterback. That puts that now you got a running and passing threat.
2nd and 5. Little miscommunication on the handoff as Barboza will lose quite a bit of yardage out to the 42. That'll bring up a 3rd and 9. So the Pioneers have yet to get inside the Reds Barbecue red zone tonight.
Speaking of Reds Barbecue, hello, Amy. She is just now joining us.
Hello, Amy. 9:55 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Barboza in the gun. He'll hand it off to the unnamed tailback who gets it to the 39-yard line. As we've got a lot of cheers over here on the track. And they're going to go for it on 4th and 7. We're just going to call him No Name. No Name 30 at tailback. He'll stay to the left of Barboza. Barboza back to pass, the lefty. And he's going to be, they're going to say it's a fumble, but it looked like he got the ball out. But it will be ruled a fumble. And recovered at the 50-yard line, and it's just been one of those nights for the Pioneers as Legacy with yet again their 3rd takeaway of the ball game.
Well, it started out real well. I mean,
Penalty.
you know,
Oh, never mind.
Oh, so it was ruled an incomplete pass after all. I thought the ball was coming forward on that.
I like the energy of that tailback. He seemed to do really well.
Yeah, I agree on that. So they actually, so it was 4th down. So it will be still a turnover on downs. And that's where Legacy will take over. So here we go, 1st and 10 for Legacy. And this is going to be a good run to the 45-yard line. That looks like a new tailback in there for the Broncos. Actually, no, it was not. That was Jawan Harrison Jr., the starting tailback. Nathan Wilson remains the quarterback for Legacy, and it'll be a 1st and 10 from the 46. This may be it could be the last drive of the night for the starters for Legacy. And here's a handoff to Harrison, who is close to the sticks for the first down. Bring it up 2nd and 1.
The Broncos have just seemed to be getting past that front line of the Pioneers all night long.
They've been terrific.
Yeah.
A lot of open holes. Yeah. And even when Jaden Manning, number 5, their tailback, he's really blown the doors off at the running back position, and now they're just giving Jawan Harrison some opportunities at tailback. Bring a 2nd and 1. Here's a handoff, and good push there from the Pioneer front, but it looks like it's going to be enough for a first down. It will. They'll move the sticks. And it's just been one of those nights here, and thankfully we're not seeing a lot of penalties right now. Knock on wood. As it was just a slow first half. Let's see if Legacy continues to run the football here. Here's a fake handoff. Wilson throws it down the seam, and there it is. That's the tight end, number 14, Blaine Roosh. And we talked about it earlier that I thought that Roosh was going to be open on the seam at some point, and he was wide open. Touchdown, Legacy. They now lead by 5 scores, and I imagine that may have been their last possession of the game for the starters over there as they come out to kick the PAT. And as they look over the Pioneer sideline, it is just no energy. PAT is good. 5th PAT of the night for Legacy. And they now lead 35-0 here at Pioneer Stadium. Boswell showed a lot of positive things on that last offensive drive that led to the turnover on downs.
You know, with such a young team, you hate to be completely discouraging if you're a coach.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough knot. It's been a tough season. You know, you have to really be, you know, careful how you treat the players. And I think that coach has been definitely encouraging when they come off the field. He's high fiving them, you know, giving them love, and they definitely need it.
So let's take a look at some scores around the district. Crowley took the win last night against Mansfield, 35-23, and North Crowley all over Mansfield Lake Ridge. We knew that was coming, 56-7 for the number 1 team in the district as well as the state. Take a look at some other scores in a bit. This one is kicked away, and it will fall in the end zone for a touchback. Some other scores around the area. Haltom took the win last night against Grand Prairie, 23-14. Saginaw moves to 6-0 on the year. They are after their 21-15 win over Arlington Heights. And Matt, we are now staring down a likely 0-7 start for the Pioneers, and the Rough Riders are going to be 6-0. Has hell frozen over, man? I mean, it is.
You know, it's unbelievable. But they, you know, give them credit. They played tough. They played hard, and they deserve every bit of the, you know, a great winning season that they're having.
So Barboza throws it to the left side. This one is caught. Will be brought out to the 35-yard line. That was number 29, Logan Emerson, the senior wide receiver, getting some playing time here. And I think, like you said at halftime, Keith, I think a lot of the twos are getting some work here to start the second half. And, I mean, look, it's been working out so far here on these last 2 drives. Barboza, quick fake. He throws it to the right side. That ball was almost picked on the errant pass to Peyton Rhodes.
I think at this point, what do you got to lose, right?
Yeah. Agreed on that. It'll remain at their own 35-yard line for a 2nd and 10. We still do not know the name up here of number 30. Running back to the left, but hey, he's played pretty well. Yeah, no name has played pretty well to start. And Barboza under pressure. Breaks a tackle. Barboza stays on his feet. Rolls out to the left now. Got blockers upfield. Barboza past the 50. There's a first down for Barboza. Out to they're going to mark him down at the 43-yard line.
At this point, we need to say good night to Stephanie over across the pond. We will see you on the North Crowley game.
That's 2 weeks from now. We will see Stephanie at the North Crowley game. Pioneers have a much-needed bye week next week.
Get some players healthy.
Yeah, get some players healthy. Barboza throws it to the left side. That one actually was caught. What a grab. Right there on the left by, again, Logan Emerson. So Logan Emerson getting some playing time now, the senior, and it's working out. It's a few yards for a gain of 4. 2nd and 6. All of a sudden, the change at quarterback has kind of put some life into the offense. Here's a handoff to No Name. And No Name gets a gain of 2.
Love it.
As we've got Jim just laughing up here. Looks like Matt Winchell is putting some life into the offense down there for the Pioneers.
Whatever works.
Here's a handoff to No Name. He gets a few extra yards out to the 35-yard line. He's going to be short, though, so it's going to bring up a 4th and 2. And look, you're down 5 scores. Just go for it. Why not?
Hey, Stephanie says she's going to bring us some British treats and leave them at the box office
Ooh,
for us.
nice. So 4th and 2, Barboza in the gun. And that's going to be a false start against the Pioneers. We had been so grateful without a penalty for 6 minutes. And it comes at the wrong time for the Pioneers to bring up a 4th and 7. What'd you say?
He said refs got their second win.
The officials are ready for more.
Wait, we haven't thrown a flag yet.
Clock continuing to roll here in the third quarter. 5:18 remaining. Trips to the right, 4th and 7 for Barboza. Looking, throws. This one is incomplete.
He might have got an arm in there, but I guess not.
Yeah, it looked like BB looked a little early on that, but pass was off target. So good no call. We didn't want a penalty anyway, as it'll bring up a first and 10 for Legacy. Yeah, Barboza is a lefty, and he stands at 5'6", 160 pounds. So he's really putting it on for the history of the Boswell Pioneers. Not really much of a tall team in the past, let's say over the last 20 years. As Wilson will remain in the game and will hand it off to Juwan Harrison. He's got a big hole out towards the 50, across the 45, and he's brought down at the 40. They're going to give him the 44. And it's just been that night for Legacy ever since about the change of the first quarter. They've been able to do everything against this Pioneer defense.
I've seen a few times our Pioneer defense has been blocked way past the line.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just really making their way with them.
Getting pushed up front. Big boys up front for Legacy. We talked about that in the pregame. They're going to move a man in motion. Wilson hands it off to Harrison. And he'll get a gain of about, they're going to give him 2. So good stop there for Boswell.
Lots of runs up the middle looking.
Yeah. Lots of runs up the middle, and as we start to get later in this game, it's going to put the Pioneers at 0-7 on the year, and now 2 games out of the playoffs of Legacy with 3 games remaining. It's going to be up to multiple teams to try and give the Pioneers some hope. As this is a handoff towards the right side, and it's a good gain up to the 36.
I don't think either team's trying to argue, trying to scrape some time off the clock.
Try to get out of here, try to get healthy. I know the Pioneers are just trying to get out of here without any other injuries. And as you take a look at the rest of the schedule for Legacy, they will play next week against Mansfield. That'll be a tough one for them. Then they go at Crowley and then at Lake Ridge. So at this point, when you look at the Pioneer schedule, I think you would say that Legacy's likely going to lose 2 of the next 3 games. So for the Pioneers, they're going to have to win all 3 of the next games, and they'll have to take down North Crowley in 2 weeks, the number 1 team in the state, to give themselves a shot. It'll all come down to then.
I won't say it's impossible because we thought Eaton a few years ago was impossible, but
it is true. Eaton in that playoff game a few years ago was actually predicted to win by 42, and they were also supposed to, in a lot of people's minds, make the state championship game. So you never know what can happen, especially as you get healthy down the line. And Pioneers just had a 4th down stop. It'll bring up a 1st and 10 for the offense and some life for the 2s for the Pioneer D's. So, yeah, I mean, just looking at the rest of the schedule, I mean, it's going to be, we talked about in the pregame, this was a must-win for Boswell. It would have put them in the driver's seat to run away with that 4th spot, and now they're going to have to pull off an upset in 2 weeks against North Crowley and then handle business in
I,
2 weeks as well.
I might have to have Jim sub in on the thing because I totally lost where we were at with down the distance.
So 1st and 10. Barboza will hand it off to No Name, and No Name gets a gain of, I'm going to give him 1.
Call it what? Number 30.
To bring up a 2nd and 9. Clock continuing to roll here in the 3rd quarter.
You know, I'm thinking that maybe with the shortage of running backs, maybe they brought someone up from JV.
Think so too, yeah. Without him being on the roster, that's likely the reasoning. I mean, Pioneers are just so incredibly thin right now as far as depth. They've got their 3rd string tailback right now at QB, and their 4th string is not even on the roster. So it just tells you a little bit of the situation that they're in. So Barboza is going to roll out to his left. Still looking. Throws this one up. It's going to be caught. Nope, incomplete. It was a good ball, though, from Barboza, able to just toss it up there, but ball's incomplete. They'll bring up a 4th down and 7, and the Pioneer punt team's going to come out. Thankfully, only 2 penalties here in the 3rd quarter between both teams.
Well, Jim, I got to tell you, your camera work is a lot better than mine last week.
So this one is punted away. And it will be down at the 27, and that is where Legacy will take over with a 5-score lead over Boswell. It's going to get later in this game. We're going to start seeing the backups for Legacy. You know, already seeing the 2s for the Pioneers. The 2s that are now 1s, and then you're starting to see the 3s, and starting to see the 4s, and when you see the 4s, it just tells you you are running thin as far as being healthy. As Wilson's going to remain in the game at quarterback for Legacy. Here's a handoff towards the right side. That's a new tailback in the game. That is Devin Brooks.
I have never seen.
Yeah. It just shows you, I mean, there's so many guys that are down right now. I mean, you also look across, too. There's so many guys in street clothes because of the injuries that are had. It's truly remarkable. It's been a crazy season for these sophomores, and this will likely do it for the 3rd quarter of play. As we've got 27 seconds remaining. I don't think they're going to run another play here before this 3rd down. Yeah, they're going to start walking across the field. The coaches will. And we'll have the 4th quarter ready to go here from Pioneer Stadium. Stay tuned to Boswell Sports. Back out of the break here for the 4th quarter of play, as this quarter is brought to you by Sandy's Action Photography.
Jim's not on here, so we'll. Sandy's for your weddings, bar mitzvahs. I'm trying to think what else he calls them. Whatever you want your probably wedding shoots, all that kind of good
Any
stuff.
pictures?
Any pictures you want, Sandy, and she will have these up on the website this weekend.
So we take a look at the Pioneer mascot on the truck with 12 minutes remaining. There's going to be a new quarterback in the game for Legacy as well. That's going to be, looks like Dondre Thomas, the receiver. And they'll hand it off towards the left, a gain of about, I'll give him 3.
And Chris Hayes is checking in. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Jim has decided to take the second half off from a very, well, you can just see the score.
It'll bring up a 1st and 10 for Legacy.
Jim decided with the score it was time to bring in some backups.
So Dondre Thomas will hand it towards the right. That one is Devin Brooks.
Jim's got a vocal cord injury.
Jim's on a pitch count right now. He can only use his vocal cords so much up here. As he's got a 3-game stretch coming up.
He's getting to that retirement age, and it's past his bedtime.
Well, he does have a bye next week, so maybe we can
2nd and 3. Here's a handoff up the middle, across the 50, and well to the about 45.
Well, Keith, with the obvious, bringing players back healthy, what do you think we would have to do to get North Crowley? Is there any kind of a idea in your head of what you think might need to happen with it?
North Crowley not show up.
Yeah. Well,
No, you've got to have, and somehow between now and 2 weeks from tonight, instill some sort of confidence in these boys, get your players back healthy, and then just get creative with the play calling.
And maybe a little overconfident North Crowley coming in thinking they're going to beat a team that's 7-7.
Absolutely.
I would say that, and then you just treat it like that Eaton game. You remember how many trick plays were in that Eaton game? The entire playbook was out, and you got to hope that by then all the guys that you've lost due to injury will be back, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a spark. But man, I was looking at some of their highlights the other night, and North Crowley is the real deal.
Yep.
This is a team that's going to have a very good shot to go play at Jerry's World. And here we go. The penalty fest continues. It is a false start against Legacy.
I would really like to know how many penalty yards have been called in this game.
See, I wish we had the Dallas Morning News here. I could tell you, Keith, but unfortunately they are not here tonight.
Because we've seriously got to be well over 200 yards.
Yeah, it's been a very sloppy game, and it's crazy to think about too, because Legacy's got most of the penalties.
Yeah,
and you wouldn't think it with the score. You sit here down 9:25 remaining.
Penalties were not a factor on our side.
There's a good hit there, as this one is knocked incomplete. There he is again. Christian Carrington has really shown himself tonight. There hasn't been a lot of bright spots for the Pioneer team, but defensively, number 14, man, Christian Carrington has been flying around the field. And we saw it last week, too, against Crowley. Carrington had a really good game, and we're starting to see it again on display tonight. They are really going to miss him next year. Cornerback position. 9:21 to go, as there's a 3rd and 15 coming up. It's a busted play. Thomas will still make something out of nothing. Bounces to the left side. And he evaded so many tacklers and gets across the 20. It will be another 1st down. It's the clock.
And that's just been the story of the game. You think that you've got them stopped, and a penalty or a busted play or something.
Yeah, busted play went to the house or went to the 18, and they are in the red zone now. And for some reason, the clock did stop. The clock should not have stopped.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, they usually don't stop it until later in the the game clock. But anywho, gain of 2. Bring up a 2nd and 8. Excuse me, a 2nd and 9. Sorry, Keith.
That's all right. I'll forgive you this time.
Second and 9 from the 17. Legacy's just trying to milk out this clock here and send us to church. Send us to the weekend. OU Texas weekend
Yes.
tomorrow from the newly renovated Cotton Bowl.
Runs into his own man.
This one's taken to the 7-yard line, and look, it may look like this score tonight or tomorrow with the OU Texas game. Texas is likely to really put it on Texas really likely to put it on OU tomorrow, I think. 5 of the Oklahoma receivers are not playing tomorrow. Their first 5 in their depth chart are not playing. So we think we got it bad with injuries. Imagine if you were Oklahoma and you lost your entire wide receiver core. Here's a handoff up the middle to Jawan Harrison, who is pushing the pile here to the 4-yard line. It'll bring up a 2nd down.
Definitely did not anticipate this type of score.
Yeah, I did not either. I thought, even with the injuries, I thought Boswell was going to give themselves a really good shot here. But again, I mean, you got to tip your hat to Legacy. I think over the last few weeks, ever since that Chisholm loss, they've really figured it out. They have a good system as far as their running back room, and I think they may have found a little something in the passing game tonight too. They hadn't really been a passing attack team, but they really brought it tonight. And here's a handoff for, again, another touchdown on the ground for Legacy. And that will move it to a 6-score lead with 7 minutes to play. As it is not the homecoming that the Pioneers were looking for at home. Shut out at home, as it will move Boswell to 0-7 on the season. When was the last time the Pioneers were 0-7 to start the year? 2003? 21 years ago. What was that record that year, Jim?
They were all defeated.
0-10 in 2003. So that was the last time the Pioneers went defeated in the season. I think there is some favorable matchups down the line, though, for Boswell. Like we said, they will need to win their next 3 games and hope that Legacy only wins 1 of their next 3 games. And then with that, they would have to hope that a third team also has 3 wins on the ledger to force the tiebreaker scenario. But I believe that also would hurt the Pioneers because that tiebreaker would likely come down to this game. So it is a very big uphill battle, and the chances to make the playoffs just took a steep nosedive.
It's very telling.
After tonight's game.
We're in the press box next to the visiting coaches, and it's very telling when they're packing up with 7 minutes left to go in the game. They're just run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle.
Yeah, Boswell's going to have to hope Kyrell and Lassiter can get back to finish the season strong and head into the 2025 campaign.
Anyone have any guesstimations what might be wrong with Juju, or just no word? Or
I think with Juju, I think they just made a change, I think, for the second half just to see what could happen. I mean, you look at the receivers too. I think they took all of the starting receivers out as well. I did not see Jackson Trammell, on the field for any of these drives so far. And
you know, Matt, I think you hit on something too earlier with a score like this, a game like this, there's Jackson Trammell out there, but by the way.
Yeah, Jackson Trammell's on the field now.
You've got to, as a coach, just try and at least put some positive on it, right?
Yeah. So 6:55 to go here in this one. Barboza hands it off to No Name, who gets it to the 27. Oh, I just heard a name.
Anthony Hunter? Is that what I heard?
I think I heard Anthony Hunter. We have a name, folks. We have a name. I did hear Anthony, so we're just going to call him Anthony for now. 2nd and 6. Here's a handoff to Anthony,
Anthony's fighting.
who gets a gain of 1.
Oh,
It's thrown down late, and there is some more mustard on the lettuce. Some spicy mustard with that one. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty against Legacy. I think this is the most 15-yard penalties I've ever seen against one team that is winning by 42 points in my entire life. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. As you heard, it is a first down. With 6:19 to go. Barboza hands it off to Anthony, who's really putting it on the ground here. Gets out to the 46.
He's played fine. He's
played pretty well. And I think it is Anthony Hunter, so that's his name. Anthony Hunter. Welcome to varsity, my friend. Gets a gain of 3 there. Making his debut tonight for the Pioneers. And they'll hand it off to Anthony Hunter again. And wish I knew his classification. He gets out to the 49 because all of a sudden you start looking to the future. Lassiter and Anthony Hunter. Hey. It's good two-back system right there for the future. 3rd and 2 from the 49. Barboza will keep it on the read option out to the left. He's going to get the first down and more. And he's brought out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So a rare first down for the Pioneers tonight, who haven't had many in this one. And the sticks will move. I think Boswell, they're just trying to get into the end zone here for the end of this game. Here's a handoff to Anthony Hunter again. And there's going to be a flag down. This is going to be a hold as another flag came in. And it will be a hold.
Multiple flags, though. But
yeah, multiple flags. This may be offsetting penalties. It has been a penalty fest tonight. As if you go to the local Kroger, all of the Hertz mustards may be gone.
Heinz. Yeah, with all the calculations that they've had to do. Yeah. (7x plus 13y minus 4z equals a whole lot of yards.
So it's actually going to go
15 yards. What?
So interesting. So they
holding on defense.
Oh, hands to the face. Okay, so that was the initial flag. Oh, okay. So they did hands to the face and a face mask. They declined the hands to the face, except the face mask penalty.
That looks like more than 15 yards, like 30 yards on that.
So for the first time tonight, the Pioneers are in the Reds barbecue red zone.
I missed it.
For the first time tonight.
Thanks to the refs.
On the 17, Barboza throws and it is caught down at the 2. And that is number 29, Logan Emerson, who has played pretty well here in the second half. his
good ball.
third reception. A good pass there from Barbosa. So now 1st and goal from the 2. Pioneers trying to get into the end zone for the first time tonight. Here's a handoff. Nope. Barbosa keeps it on the ground to the left. He's going to dive. He's in. Touchdown, Pioneers. And it will not be a shutout tonight here at Pioneer Stadium. 4:35 remaining. Pioneers get into the end zone. Hear the fight song.
Gotta go for 2 here.
The mascot's having quite a bit of fun down there on the track towards the right. After that touchdown, and the PAT is good. It is now 42-7. As we see the blue crew. Usually don't see the blue crew bring out the whole blue crew running, but I think they're just excited to get to run here. So they're gonna run a quick 100-yard dash. We'll give them a 120-yard dash with the end zones in the play. So the Pioneers are getting ready to kick this one away for the first time since the opening kickoff of the game.
Oh, ouch. That's harsh. But true. You don't realize that.
With 4:35 to go.
Well, with the score, do we have game balls? Hand that hot potato to someone else other than myself this week.
Not it.
Checking in on some scores around the area.
Peyton's looking for things to say.
As Azle leads Fossil Ridge 47-43. That is a high scoring one. This one will fall in the back of the end zone for a touchback. Colleyville Heritage leads Everman 41-7. Peeking in over at Trophy Club Byron Nelson versus Keller 34-24. Byron Nelson leads. Birdville leads Denton 30-13. South Lake Carroll destroys Eaton tonight 50-14, and the Eaton program, ever since the Pioneers beat them in the playoffs, has just taken a nosedive. They have completely fallen apart after the Pioneer upset on their home turf. As we'll say, and Chisholm Trail leads North Side 27-7. And we'll take a look over at Eagle Mountain in a sec. Here's a handoff to the left side. That is Quintarius Crawford on the carry. We'll take a look over at the Eagle Mountain game as they fall tonight to Brock 95-0. Just kidding. 45-7. Trying to keep
Keeping us on our toes.
trying to keep everybody awake up here tonight. 45-7.
Oh man.
As the Brock Eagles continue to show their reign.
Oh, fumble!
And there's a fumble ball on the ground.
Sorry, Peyton.
And it's recovered by Legacy.
Sorry, I just got excited about something there.
Hey, I mean, it could have been that could be a 6-man score. Those 6-man games tend to run high a bit. It is Aledo South.
West.
Aledo West. The game of the night, though, in the state was number 2 Duncanville versus number 4 DeSoto. Oh, we'll take a look at that score in a minute. The handoff up the middle. Duncanville leads 35-20 over DeSoto, as they're starting to take it a little bit personal that they got upset last year in the playoffs. that'll do it for the scores around the area. We may take a look at some six-man games in a bit just to see if there's any crazy any craziness in the six-man level. It's been a wild.
You are really stretching, aren't you, Peyton? Oh, oops. It's third down.
So here's a handoff up the middle, and gets it across
I think this is their first.
to the 47. Bring up a fourth down. Here's some six-man scores around the state. Follette leads LaForce 67-0 in the six-man ranks. We're gonna keep finding some. And it's always fun just to look at some of the six-man scores, see what is happening around the state. Goldberg beats Throckmorton Greyhounds 78-19.
Wow.
High-scoring game. Newcastle beats Perrin Witt 77-36.
Wow.
Just a beat down in the six-man level. Here's a handoff on fourth down for a first down. And we would remind you after this game probably to tune in to Lorraine versus Bronte, as it is a shootout right now. 55-54 in that one, man. That one. Really something to look at.
Do you have that broadcast channel, Peyton?
Lone beats Panther Creek 1-0.
What?
As it looks like it's a forfeit. I believe it's a forfeit in that one.
Wait, are they? Oh, I was like, what are they doing?
So that was the six-man Division 2 scores. We'll look at Division 1 now. Booker Kiowas beats Claude Mustang 66-42. That was a high shootout in that one. Petersburg beats Lorenzo 2-0.
Peyton, where is Petersburg?
No idea. I believe that was also another forfeit. Because I think if you lose two guys due to injury in six-man, your season is over. O'Donnell beats Meadow, or is up on Meadow right now, 80-44. How about that score? I mean, we're just yelling out basketball scores right now. We've got 33 seconds left in this one as they continue to kneel it out. Lametta beats Bynum 72-26. A really good win for them. And non-UIL Pawnee beats Runge 77-58, and that will do it from Pioneer Stadium tonight as Legacy defeats Boswell 42-7, and the Pioneers now move to 0-7 on the year for the first time since 2003. We're going to take a quick break here on Boswell Sports and talk a little bit about this one after it. Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to Boswell Sports, where the final score is the Legacy Broncos 42 and the Pioneers 7. Rough, rough, rough. That's all I can describe this game as. Very tough for the Boswell Pioneers. You know, they came in here, I knew it was going to be difficult for them without some of their top weapons. They lose their quarterback Lords, but some of the backup guys got some good time. And one of the things that improves an athlete is repetition.
Yep.
And so some of these guys who don't normally get to play got some reps tonight. It makes them better holistically as a team. And so if you want to find any kind of silver lining in this thing, I think that's it.
I agree, Jim. I mean, these games are so tough, especially when you know you're just out of it and you can't come back. And those twos and threes and the fours, they showed up tonight in that second half, and you could just tell that they had a little bit more fight than how they looked to open the game. So there's going to be some healing hopefully over the next they got 2 weeks until their next game, so they're definitely, I wouldn't be surprised if the coaches just give them tomorrow off and don't even come up here for practice and look at game film. I mean, I think at this point a lot of these kids may just need a break and need a little bit of a rest after just a pretty disappointing start, I think, to the season, where there was just so many games where they had it and it just slipped away, and then now you're kind of behind the eight ball with just so much talent behind, down due to injury.
Well, you can see the faces there down on the field as the Pioneers are just stunned. Lots of injuries to a team that was already trying to find some sort of identity throughout this season, knowing that while they're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, it would be a very tough thing for them to actually make it in. There'd have to be some real key losses by other teams, and
Yeah,
they have a mountain to climb.
I think it's going to be one of those things, Jim, where they're going to have to hope they win 2 of the next 3 and Legacy goes defeated, and there's just some way they get in with a tiebreaker. But even with this deficit tonight by 35, I don't know. I mean, they're just gonna have to hope for some magic, but it's gonna be an uphill battle. If they would have won this one, we probably give them a 70% chance to make the playoffs, and now we're probably sitting at about 10% chance, maybe even lower, to make the playoffs. So it's
Well,
rough, but
3 games left in the season. They get a much needed bye week next week, a chance to get some guys healthier. I think they will get Lassiter and Robertson back.
yeah,
We'll see what happens with Lords. So they need this break. They need a chance to regroup, but then they go right back into the Lions' den as they face off against a very good North Crowley team. And then after that, I mean, they have an opportunity. Weatherford is struggling, just like the Pioneers are,
yep,
and so is Lake Ridge.
yep.
So if you can end the season on a high note, take this group that's no longer really a young team, they've been put through the fire, get them to buy into the system, get a little fire underneath them, and then they come back next year if they've got the confidence. I think this can be a good football team.
I think so too. They showed some signs at the beginning of the year, and with all the injuries and the losses, I mean, it's kind of tampered off, and now you're at a point where you're fighting. You're just fighting to get that first win. And I know whenever they get back healthy in the next 2 weeks, I know that they're going to be hopefully in a better spot than they are now.
And you can look back on this season and you can point to a few games. The Saginaw game to me was tough.
Yep.
Because you came in, you played well against Boswell. Unfortunately, that game got away from you at the very end, but you still thought you had something. You get into Saginaw, you go in there with confidence, and you get hit right in the mouth. And I think that's where they kind of lost some of that confidence. Then you go and you lose a game like Halton, where you're up.
Yep.
And now you start to get that doubt in there. And then you get kicked around by Forney.
Yep.
This team's had a rough go of it.
Yeah, and then they had the lead against Mansfield at home, which would have been, if you look at the standings, if you look at that, if that would have stayed for a lead for the Pioneers into that fourth quarter or at the end of that game, we're talking about a completely different district right now. Not even just the fourth spot, but also the 3 and the 4 spot. And it's tough. So it's gonna be a tough ride the next few days for this Pioneer bunch, because I think that they know that their chances has really crashed tonight as far as making the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely make it tough. Let's go ahead and do our players of the game. Matt, what do you got?
Yep.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Oh,
Anthony Hunter.
Hunter?
Yeah, Anthony Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He earned his name from no name to Anthony.
Yeah.
It's a good move bringing him up. You got to look at him. You got to see
Yeah. And
what your future may look like with maybe a couple of good running backs.
that's a good point, because I really think the difference between him and Barboza, Hunter seemed to have a little bit better burst,
Yeah.
hit the hole a little bit harder, where Barboza seems to be kind of that just rumbling guy,
Yeah.
the guy that gets you tough yards. And so maybe they found something in Hunter. Um,
I'd like to find out more about him next week.
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Just exactly where he came from. What is he about? What he's
Yeah.
bringing to the table.
Yeah. And then defensively, Carrington,
Yeah, I
heard his name a lot.
think kind of unanimous in the booth is probably Christian Carrington. He was our guy last week, and he played really well again tonight, just flying around the football, made really good tackles, and the defense showed some bright spots tonight. But again, it's been a struggle with the run game so far this year.
Keith, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Player of the game or just thoughts?
Player of the game and thoughts.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, we've been through it's just been an up and down season. It's really hard to. I think at this point, it's almost impossible to predict any game this season because it's been so up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anything can happen. Heaven, hell probably freezes over if we beat North Crowley next week, but it's possible. And who knows? That just might happen. Maybe Anthony Hunter comes in and you've got that two-back system that just totally surprises North Crowley.
Yeah.
Who knows? But at this point, they're playing defeated, and I think at this point you're sitting at the base of a 10,000-foot mountain, and
Yep.
try and have to get to the top before the end of the season, and there's just, you look at it, there's no way. So.
Well, this one's certainly in the books. A 42-7 loss. I would have never predicted that 3 hours ago. Thought it was going to be a lot closer than that, but unfortunately, the Boswell Pioneers do fall, and their playoff hopes look pretty dim. And we'll talk to Coach Weaver about it this Tuesday night on Pioneer Sports Extra, if you'd want to tune into that and get the coach's thought on this thing, and how he can right the ship, and what he saw out of this group. We are live from Red's Barbecue, so it's a double bonus for you. You can come out and listen to Pioneer football talk if you're a diehard fan like Matt is, and get you some Red's Barbecue, some of the best barbecue in town. We would love to have you out there. That's a 5 o'clock start at Red's Barbecue for the Pioneer Sports Extra. That'll do it for us here. We won't have a game. Remember, we won't have a game for you next Friday night, as the Pioneers are in the bye week, but we will be back here 2 weeks from today, and as the Pioneers square off against North Crowley. Until that time, good evening and go Boz.
Go Boz.
Lights above the field, Friday night tension high. Sweat on the backs, Pioneer pride. War drums beat inside, helmet cracks in the air. Concrete grit out and fight, enemies everywhere. Boswellsports, screams of screams, voices howl, spirits lean. Warriors clash unseen, legacy in the beams. Dust settles under feet, victory cries loud and sweet. Heroes in the heat, a battle so bittersweet. Bones crush, hearts ignite, bleeding for the fight. Under the stars in the night, pioneers never die. Boswell Sports,